a semi-quick walkthrough of travelers. This is our welcome home sign. Whether you came here for the first time or you've been here many times, it's always welcome home. Here is the lobby. Then the front desk is over there. And if you play the piano, you can play the baby grand piano here. And we just put this lobby bar here, which we haven't began using, but it kind of turned into a makeshift tour desk. And here is the meat office, Negril Education and Environment Trust. This is my family's nonprofit organization. And yes, we are also part of the Rotary Club, Negril Rotary Club. Okay, moving on. So we're stepping into the garden area here. And here on the left is the bungalows. This is actually the first room category that my dad started with. Started with 3 of these and then slowly built it up to the property that it is today. So this actually used to be a jungle before my dad started this, and he started from scratch. So up here above the lobby, these are our suites and deluxe rooms. And then over here is the superior rooms. They're grafted mangoes and they're really, really good. And then over there is our standard block. And going down the bungalow path here, we're doing a little construction here. This is one of our bungalows. Give you guys a sneak peek. Hope this is dry. Okay, it is. Alright, just a little quick sneak peek. Brought the ceilings up. Well, got AC. That's it. Not even gonna explain the concept, but I'll just give you a quick look-see on what we're doing here. Alright, I don't know if I was supposed to show you that or not, but that is that. Okay. Moving on. Keep going towards the beach. I'm not sure if you can see that from here, but that's the direction that we're heading in. And then over on the right, morning. All right. And over on the right is the pool area. Let's see if we can walk across. Hope I'm not moving too fast here, but no gimbal or anything. This is just with my phone. And this is a pool, has a bar, swimmer bar, which we open. I think they're opening it today, as a matter of fact. And that's the waterfall. And then under the waterfall is a grotto, so little cave-like thingy. That's cool. It's not too far, not too deep of a pool, I should say. So no diving. Then moving on. Oh, sorry, I gotta walk back across. And then over here on the left, we got our gym. We just repainted it. So we got treadmill, we got techno gym weights, if you know about weights. These are top of the line stuff. Super proud of that. Elliptical, pull up, chin up, dip bar, squat rack. We got 2 exercise benches and bench press and a bunch of different plates. And there's me. Let's keep this moving. And then here we got the family room. It's kind of a place if you want to come chill out, want to read, hang out with the family. And then here we have like a map. And so everybody, every guest that we've had here, if you're from anywhere here that hasn't been scratched off, then you can come and just scratch it off. So we've had people from all over the States, all over Europe, Russia, China, Australia, New Zealand, people from all over the world, travelers. Oh, Madagascar, different places in Africa, pretty cool. No one from Iceland and Greenland. That's surprising. I feel like we have had that, but maybe they didn't scratch it off. And then if you're just coming for the day, we have a shower here, and you can use this as a changing room, shower up, and go on about your day. So this is the family room. Play chess, you can do that as well. I like that from time to time. And then here's the bar and the restaurant, and of course the beach. Then we have our dive shop here, but I don't think anybody's diving. But you come here, get certified scuba if you want to. I've been diving with these guys a few times. And then we have canoes and paddle boards as well if you want to get out there, and the glass bottom boat. So that's the dive shop's glass bottom boat right out there. And yeah, bar, restaurant. Afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday to you all. And we are back for another Sunday live stream here on the 7 miles of White Sand Beach in Negril, Jamaica. There I am. I hope you all are doing well. And we have a fun one lined up for today. I hope you enjoy that little tour of travelers. It's from I feel like early last year, so we've had some changes. So one of them is the one of the biggest changes that you've seen was, or we'll see if you come here now, is a family room. As nice as it looked, and it was, we redid the entire family room, new furniture, new layout. There is actually a foosball table in there, a pool table, redid the bathroom, and a lot of reading areas, a lot of reading spaces, and also board games. So pretty cool. We're very happy and proud of what that turned into. And then all of the cottages, are what was formerly known as bungalows, have been completed as well. And maybe I'll put that up a little bit later. The bungalow walkthrough, or the bungalow tour. Yeah, I'll throw that up shortly. But as usual, how are you all doing? Where are we chiming in from? What city? What state? What country? Always love to hear that. And we got a few things we're gonna talk about today. One of them being is like a few updates on what's happening with the water here in Negril, and perhaps my opinion on how things are progressing in certain ways. We can hop into that. And we also have a guest coming on in the next 20 minutes or so, about the really in relation to the real estate conference coming up on Thursday, which is really quickly, super quickly, and we should have a nice discussion on that in a few minutes. But of course, I want to go through our usual warming up to today's live stream. And today we have a very beautiful day, like really nice. It's like a little rough, the seas. I think it started yesterday. I want to say yesterday morning. It kind of got a little choppy, but for the most part, it's pretty nice, I would say. In terms of like it's warm, but we have a nice breeze. And I'm trying to fix this mic. Me there. So yeah, beautiful, like pretty beautiful weather. I would say very nice weather. Like really can't complain. And everybody's kind of hanging out, chilling, super easygoing Sunday here. Just adjust the camera. Yeah, really easygoing Sunday here. And let's have it over to the comments. Happy Sunday, Donna. Always nice to see you. Audrey Bentley, happy Sunday, Throppers from South Florida. Carrie Mold, good morning, Winthrop. I'm developing a vacation plan to stay at Travelers in August. Awesome. Would love to have you. Let me know if you how successful that plan is going. Please let me know. Jay Fitz, hi Throp and family, listening from Atlanta and watching Arsenal and Avalon. Arsenal should win. No F1 this weekend. I don't know anything about soccer. Or I should say anything, but I don't know a lot about it. I was more watching. I think somebody had mentioned it yesterday. Caught up on UFC 300 last night, which was crazy. I didn't watch it live. I fell asleep so early. But I was watching the press conferences, post press conferences this morning, and then seeing the results. It was a really, really good one. So I don't know if anybody else caught that last night. Happy Sunday, Inga baby. Good to see you. Carol says, unsuccessfully try to find out if you have handicap accessibility rooms on the ground floor. Could speak to you about that. Yeah, we do. So I'm not sure what exact amenities that you have, but we have one room in particular that we have wheelchair bound guests who need to be able to say go roll right into the shower with their wheelchair and also be on the ground floor and roll into the onto the balcony, not balcony, onto the veranda balcony, and then into the room. And so we do have that available. So if you need to speak with somebody specifically about that, let me know. And also, obviously, as you're making your reservation, please let them know. Afternoon, Chelsea. Nice to have you. Audrey says, the family room is nice. Thank you. Lisa Marie says, happy Sunday, Throp and Throppers, chiming in from cloudy Connecticut. It's better than cold Connecticut, right? Oh, sorry, seeing your comment here now, Carrie. Jamaican from Kingston, now living in Maryland in a wheelchair since I had a massive stroke in 2013. I am sorry to hear that, but I believe we can accommodate you. Norma, what is going on? Good to see you. Norma says, sorry, not Norma, Norman. Gorgeous property, Throp. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happy Sunday to you as well, Joy. Inga Baby says that was beautiful. Thank you. And Carrie says, I'm very happy to see those stairs with the railings going down to the beach. It was wonderful wondering how we get to the beach. Yep. And we'd be more than happy to assist you in any way that you need to get you on that beach. Most important, right? Joy Turner is chiming in from Brampton, Ontario. Our Grant is saying, how is the seaweed problem? What seaweed problem? I don't see any seaweed. Well, we don't. I don't know if you're referring to a situation that we had a few months ago, maybe last month, or maybe 6 weeks ago, or something like that. We did have a buildup, a great buildup of seaweed along the beach, which was, I would say, pretty unprecedented. We got lucky this side of the beach, but parts like further north up the beach, they got it really, really bad. So it was really bad, but like it's clear, as you can see, it's very clear and clean. We just have a little bit of kind of rough seas, depending. Some people would say the sea is not rough at all, depending on where they're coming from. But normally, as you all know, Negril's water is like a lake, more often than not. Patricia, hello everyone. Happy Sunday from Massachusetts. Wishing I was on the beach. Happy Sunday to you as well. Wish you were here too. Donna Bryce says it's a beautiful property and the staff are amazing. Thank you very much, Donna. Appreciate that. And Norman's watching from Florida. Tisha, what's going on? Happy Sunday, everyone. Tuning in from Florida as usual. Nice to have you. Sherry chiming in from sunny Cincinnati. Awesome. Nacho Yard Wagwan from crowded Boston on a marathon weekend. Good for you. I mean, maybe not good for you if you live there, but I wish I was there. I have so many friends that are running tomorrow, and my team is running their teamwork. Shout out to teamwork. And it's big weekend. And I would have loved to have gone just to be there and be in the atmosphere. Boston is an amazing, super special place in general, but just especially for the Boston Marathon, which I have been lucky enough to run twice. And so for those that don't know, I'm a marathon runner, like big marathon runner in terms of like I big in the sense in terms of lifestyle more than anything else. So, but I'm injured, which is very very annoying, and hoping to come back very very strong this summer. So I'm just taking my time and getting healthy. But good luck to everybody running tomorrow. Zoe says, happy Sunday, Throp, chiming in from Oregon. Good to see you. Ficus, what's going on, man? He's in London. Good to have you. Vivine, happy Sunday from Palm Beach. Grant, yeah, talking about early this year. Yep. All is good with that. All is good with that. Yeah, thanks for asking. Not normal for Negril, that's right. Meryl Marie, good day, Throp, and everyone from London, UK. Nice to have you. Nice to have you. All right. All right. So we got about 15 minutes. Our guest comes on. Not the one of the things I wanted to talk about. So sorry, I'm just trying to bring up an article. I'm trying to figure out which one. So as you may or may not be aware, Negril has been suffering from just having water, like which we haven't had. At least we haven't had consistently coming out of our pipes in quite some time. And we did an emergency live stream on it the other day, a couple of weeks ago, about like not only the water but also the morass burning and us being in a drought. And I was at Negril Primary, formerly Negril All Age, on Monday, and I did a shoot there. I wish I had some pictures to share with you, but it was a great shoot. But they freaking stole the water tank from the school, which is just ridiculous. Really, really unfortunate and sad that in this time of crisis, whoever did it didn't care about the kids, and that school has enough challenges to begin with. I'm doing a video on it. The video is a very positive video because we had Captain I Can come in. He's a robot. Maybe I can upload a picture. I'll try to do that in a second. He's a robot, but he's also like a inspirational robot. It's a human being inside a robot suit, and he goes there and goes to different schools around Jamaica to inspire kids. And like the two main takeaways is just having this I can attitude. Yes, I can, Captain, I can. And then also the second messaging is like never give up, never ever give up. And so I was there filming, and this was put on by our nonprofit organization, Negril Education Environment Trust, and it was funded by NEAT. But when I went there on the morning of, they told me that the water tanks got stolen. I mean, it's just such a disgusting act, and just being in a very desperate, Negril is just being in a very desperate situation, and these idiots decide to be selfish and really take advantage of the most vulnerable in our society, which is our children. And so what came of it is, shout outs to Sean. And Sean is a promoter here on the left here, and he is the director of the Negril Entertainment Association, and he puts on one of the most sought after and most widely attended events in the Negril, which is Different Strokes. I've had him on the program. He's been on the live stream talking about his event, and it's like an oldies party. And I don't go out much, but it's one of the if I do go out, it's one of the very few events that I'll go to and attend in the Negril because the music is so good. I don't think they go past, I want to say, early 2000s, maybe even the 90s in terms of the music genres. And it's just a very, grown up, mature crowd. The vibes are just amazing, and that's what he does. And so anyway, this article is talking about how they donated the water tank that got stolen back to the school. And yeah, again, it's just really, really sad that people would do something like that. But I also wanted to share the positive news about it, and that they donated this. So I'll just read quickly. Senator Matthew Samuda, minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, said he was given instruction to the Rural Water Supply Limited (RWSL) to replace the tank, but the school had already been gifted 3 tanks, two by Ian Hales, the People's National Party's caretaker candidate for Westmoreland Western, and one by the NEA, or the Negril Entertainment Association. I have instructed Rural Water Supply Limited to have the tank replaced in the coming days, and to ensure that there is no further disruption because of the lack of a tank, Samuda said while speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. And it goes on. Even the Prime Minister had addressed this in the Senate, which was yeah, again, unfortunate. So anyway, I'm putting that article there if you'd like to read it and go further into it. Just really, really, really sad. And it's, stealing the thing too, and this hasn't really been talked about. Maybe they talk about it further in the article. I'm not sure. But like, stealing a water tank isn't like stealing a cell phone or a laptop. That thing is huge. You need a truck. This is somebody obviously is well orchestrated. I hope they get brought to justice is what I'm trying to say. This is a well orchestrated heist, so to speak. And I hope there's some sort of accountability for these idiots who did this. And it's just absolutely, absolutely disgusting, right? And anyway, we'll move on from that. Sticking with the water issue that we have here in Negril, I would say the progress, it's being talked about. We're supposed to be getting these things, and it's kind of, I don't even want to play these videos that have been circulating. But once the issue has been brought to the public light in the way that it has in the recent weeks, now it's kind of turning into like this finger pointing on both sides with politics, and you kind of see what's happening. And I understand it. Both people, like each side wants to deflect blame for being in this situation, and then each side wants to take credit for any progress being made. And where like we're sitting here like, all right, who cares? It's like, fix the freaking problem, and like that's kind of where we are. I just see it like being played out, and I can see it like so clearly, and it's just annoying to watch. It's just so annoying that they're putting out these videos, and instead of just just fix the problem. Just fix the problem. What's the plan? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And I don't really have an answer to like how to stop that sort of rhetoric. I don't think there is an answer. Maybe that's just the game, and it kind of is what it is in that sense. But and somebody had asked me this question last week in terms of like coming off of the live stream where I brought these issues to light on my platform, and they had asked, you bringing this forward, what incentives does that give us as potential investors or potential people looking to move to Jamaica or move back to Jamaica to actually execute on that plan or execute on that dream if you have all these challenges? And I say to that, and I continue to say to that, is that I strongly, strongly believe that these are short-term issues. And they can turn into long-term issues if nothing is said about them and nothing is done about them. So I believe that these are short-term issues, and it's really us, we the people, that have to push this stuff to light. And we cannot maintain, I would say, in a very strong way, the status quo of what Jamaica has been like traditionally, which is more of a sweep things under the rug strategy. And that hasn't worked for a long time. And bringing transparency to the issues and to the process of solving those issues really moves us away from that, and really has a focus, more of a growth focus and more of a progressive move forward and grow focus. So that's why, and that's why I have no problem talking about these things, because this is a challenge. And of course, I will absolutely 100% continue to encourage all who have any sort of desire or will to move here and call this place their home or invest here and make it a better place, I will continue to encourage you to do so. I mean, unless one day I stop believing that for some reason. But in my heart, like I truly believe that we, I, us as a country and community, like we are sitting on an absolute gold mine in so many ways, and not just in monetarily, but also in terms of a brighter future for future generations. But it really is up to us. I truly believe that we are the ones that are going to have to figure out these issues. Even though like we didn't cause them, we didn't create them, but nonetheless, they are here for us to solve. I think that's kind of the way that I look at it, and I'm happy to do so. We got about 4 more minutes till we get going with our guests, but I'm going to just wrap up before we get into the next segment and have our guests come on. I'm just going to go through some of these comments quickly so we can come into a fresh topic when we come back. Baby says, I swear some of our people have no shame. Being poor is no reason to steal others' property. Stealing from a school is shameful, and the person who did it needs to be caught. Yardi says, whoever stole the tank did well. Nobody loved kids like the media. Well done. New tank and train, loads of water. Mission accomplished. Squeaking wheel gets the grease. Understood. I think we got your sentiments there, Yardi. Lloyd Robert says, good day, Throp, hope all as well. 2 questions. Does Negril ever have any problems with sargassum, like what happens in Mexico? And do hotels have a main sewage drainage system? The hotels have a sewage drainage system. I'm not clear on that. I know we don't have any sort of sewage drainage system. Like we depend on the city of Negril, so to speak, to take care of those services. So we don't have anything in place that I am aware of. It goes into the sewer, so to speak. In regards to your question about sargassum, we do get it. We do get it, but nowhere near as much as Mexico. We're very lucky. We probably get it maybe once a year, and I don't believe there was a gentleman talking or asking earlier about the seaweed that we had a couple of weeks ago. Our grant, he was asking about the seaweed. That wasn't sargassum. That I don't believe, at least from what I saw, I don't think it. And like I said, we didn't get a lot down here on the southern end of the beach. That was traditional seaweed. I don't know what to call it scientifically, but sargassum, luckily we don't have it. We've had, maybe from what I can remember, since it's like they've been a thing, maybe 3 times where it was significant enough where, no, it's more than 3 times. It's more than 3 times. But again, I'm thinking about like when, we had to bring on like backhoes onto the beach and bury it and take it off. So a handful of times, but I know that in certain parts of Mexico, it's like a real problem that is kind of something that they're figuring out and have to live with. And so we're super, super lucky in that sense, and not having to deal with that. So it's pretty beautiful most of the year round. But obviously nature is nature and happens every so often. Okay. All right. I think we're going to move into our next segment, and which I told everybody that we are having a guest come on, and this is in respect to the real estate conference and expo. I was going to say next week, but it's actually this week, happening from April 18th to the 20th, the International Real Estate Conference and Homeowners Expo, and it's going to be held at the Montego Bay Convention Center. And I will have a booth there. Throp-X will have a booth there. The entire Throp Media team is going to be there as well. And I'm giving a keynote on Friday at, I should know this, I think it's 2:45. I should know this, but Friday. So if you want to come and be a part of that and be in the audience, you're more than welcome. And you can get your tickets at, let me throw up the website there. Take some more information. You can go to irec.realtorsjamaica.org and all the information, the schedule. We'll go through it. We'll go through it later. We'll go through it later so everybody can see. But all the information is there on the website. And so today, we actually have one of the speakers coming on, and he's going to be speaking on Thursday at 11:45 to 12:45 at the conference, and it is Anu Tafari L. Born in Kingston, Jamaica, Anu is a graduate of St. George's College. He then pursued studies in shipping logistics at the Caribbean Maritime Institute and later received a scholarship to study at La Roche College in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and further at Florida International University. During college, Anu's passion for computer software blossomed in both web and app development, working on peer-to-peer online interfaces. He became very interested in blockchain and open source technology after the advent of Bitcoin and has since worked on a number of projects to develop blockchain solutions and with decentralized platforms. He pursued courses through Harvard University's edX portal for computer science and artificial intelligence. Anu has developed skill sets in computer vision, Python programming, algorithms, machine learning to achieve artificial intelligence and the architecture of intelligent systems. He and his team's expertise culminated in the development of state-of-the-art AI software, which is helping to enhance security and efficiencies in many industries, commercial and residential entities such as hotels, financial institutions, retail stores, supermarkets, farms, factories, and residents, applicable across the globe. Anu is Chief Executive Officer at Crimson Tide AI Limited, an AI firm with cutting-edge technology that customizes solutions to solve issues and enhance outputs, security efficiencies, detects dangerous objects, as well as custom-trained behavioral patterns, facial recognitions, and perimeter breaches, ensuring homeowners and businesses are promptly alerted to any suspicious activity in monitored areas in real time. He has a real estate license in Florida and is a director of his mother's real estate brokerage, Property Solutions Limited. At this time, I would like to welcome Anu to the stream. How are you? Sorry, you're on mute. You're on mute there, Anu.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
How are you doing, Winthrop? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. My pleasure. My pleasure. Nice to have you.
Hello to all your viewers as well.
Okay, we're going to put on the we'll put on the irc.realtors.org background there so everybody knows.
You got me excited with that type of introduction, Winthrop.
Trust me, and I'm very, very excited to have you on because we do talk a lot about, I won't say a lot, but from time to time we talk about AI on here, and you of course are an expert in that field and are going to be a speaker at the Realtors Conference on Thursday. So excited to hear your keynote. But outside of that, I would love for you to give us an introduction to yourself, and then also I like to ask like kind of your day-to-day introduction, giving us an idea of what that is like.
Yeah, sure. Well, you definitely opened up the floor very well for me. So as the CEO of Crimson Tide, since you pretty much brought my background up to speed in terms of the context why we established Crimson Tide AI in Jamaica, we saw that there was an opportunity and a demand in the space for artificial intelligence. Crimson Tide AI currently is the first full stack artificial intelligence company in Jamaica that is actually holding a patent pending software that can help from security concerns based on security industry, and it's very diverse to be able to transition into business intelligence, to be used in the real estate industry, tourism, financial sectors, just based on computer vision. So what Crimson Tide is doing is using the application of cameras to be able to insert our artificial intelligence software in various environments. So by this software being implemented into a business structure, it will be able to enhance, let's say, someone's business model. For instance, for the real estate market, if a real estate agent or brokerage wishes to use artificial intelligence for property management, and they have a very large database, let's say the MLS, and they need to kind of get to their clients, the people who are calling them very frequently, and they need to know what are the properties that are in high demand in certain areas right away. They can access and use artificial intelligence to be able to find properties immediately. By real estate agencies real estate agents, sorry, using artificial intelligence in a day-to-day basis, they're going to be able to advance at a much faster pace than the other competition of realtors out there in the market. Why? Because if you're trying to access 100 clients, doing hundreds of phone calls, and this is a regular day-to-day life of a real estate agent. I hold a real estate license in Florida. So when building a software such as this to be diverse in the real estate market, we kind of use some of the application of how can AI make my experience as a real estate agent even better? How can I get to the customers better? How can I give them a great customer experience? So those are the various ways that we are applying artificial intelligence in order to make people's workflow and efficiencies much better. Not to take people's jobs per se, but to advance the level of how people are doing business.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. And kind of sticking with the real estate example that you were
Yes.
giving. So I'm trying to put myself in a situation as a realtor, maybe broker, as you're saying, a property manager, like having a large property. And so are you saying like we'd be able to use your technology to get an understanding of, say maybe even like traffic flow or foot traffic in a particular area, and giving you like real-time analytics on what those are?
Yes, you're gonna get real-time analytics, predictive intelligence. You could put someone, let's say a buyer or a seller's kind of background of what they want, what they're looking for, so on and so forth, customize. Then yes, if we're attaching the software to a database such as the MLS, then the software can go and scrape this information, pull this data, and provide all the necessary information right at a moment's notice, and then even start giving recommendations. Now these recommendations can come in the form of text, in speech, and as of recent, I'm sure a lot of people are looking on social media and seeing a lot of what they consider deep fakes, artificial intelligence of people cloning of sorts. That's going to be a major part as well in the real estate industry. So let's say a real estate agent per se, if they find themselves very, very busy, they could say, I'm going to safely use a technology and a trusted company such as Crimson Tide, that is, under the laws of Jamaica, stuff of like that. And they're in terms of data breaches, right? So you have to protect your data. It's all about ensuring that you're working with a reputable institution. But I can go and let's say I wanted to clone myself in terms of a digital model of myself, as you see me speaking right here. I can actually do that, and then I can have an AI model talk the script. Hi, I'm Anuel. I'm the real estate agent at Property Solutions. How are you? Just like a chatbot, and actually start speaking to people. This now gives a real estate agent way more time and opportunity in terms of freeing up their days to actually deal with the other nuances of the real estate market, looking into what needs to do and tend to other customers at a much faster pace, because now you have an AI avatar chatbot that is doing, customer relations or a sales coordinating type of task, not selling a property, obviously, but bringing in people into the database for the company so that a real agent can then speak to them. So these are various little intricate facets that are coming up that people can take advantage of. Of course, it transcends into smart home integrations, as I said, property management, personalized customer experiences, as I just gave you an example for the chatbot, and a myriad of other, applications.
So we have a lot of people here in this community that are looking to move here in Jamaica, that is, in some capacity, right?
Yes.
And there are also a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, and they're
Yes.
looking to not only be like formulate profitable companies, but also looking to kind of build community as well, and offer a brick and mortar services, or maybe a brick and mortar store or brick and mortar services to help do that. And so with your technology and your company, is there I'm thinking of like I want to make like the most optimized decision on, say, putting my store at a certain location, and I want to understand what that is like.
Correct.
How could your company help me do that as an entrepreneur?
Yes, going back to one of your previous statement and question in regards to foot traffic, where is a lot of data being shown that there's going to be a high volume of people. If we wanted to do a brick and mortar, do we also tap into the databases to find out where are people spending the most money? Whether is it in the New Kingston area, is it in Kingston 6, Kingston 8? These things are very important. These analytic data is very important. Now, a lot of this data just sits down dormant, especially in Jamaica, right? There's not a lot of infrastructure built at this point to be able to access that data. This is where Crimson Tide comes in, right? We for the last 3 years, we've been really getting ourselves established in Jamaica. And last year, we really rolled out Crimson Tide AI to the public, and we have since really started to do major partnerships with major companies that are within the private sector. Now, because of that, Crimson Tide is accessing various databases to be able to help these partnerships, right? And to bring the infrastructure of this database to a reality so that people can access these databases. So yes, our software is able to do that, from numbers to photos to any type of data you can imagine. We're just using what is called algorithms, very complex algorithms, and we're putting that data through a process called machine learning. Right now, in the machine learning process and deep learning process, our algorithms are pretty much mimicking what our minds are trying to achieve, right? That's how we would hard code into our software, and customize into our software what is the results that we want, in terms of output. And naturally, by computer engineering, we're able to pull raw data, factual raw data in front of us that most people have no access to. That now gives you a very, very, major foot forward in terms of knowledge, right? And you'll be able to now act upon that knowledge and advise upon that knowledge. Of course, that type of experience is going to scale Jamaica's efficiency in terms of how we operate, in terms of of how the modern world is operating in terms of their infrastructure, right? So technology really, and how we apply AI across various industries, is going to help Jamaica drastically. So the fear-based part of AI is what Crimson Tide is trying to help in Jamaica to bring about the awareness of how important AI is. And it's not all about the fear-based part of taking people's jobs or going into your privacy. Later, another question, I will kind of explain the privacy issues of AI in terms of home integrations of, let's say, Amazon, Siri, the various things like that. Because AI has been around for a little while around us, but just on a very basic level.
And within the real estate industry, specifically here in Jamaica, how has both your business and also AI generally been received in the real estate industry in Jamaica?
Well, so far, that's the reason why we're actually a sponsor at this event, and we're going to be speaking at this event, because we want to actually tap into a major part of the real estate industry to let them be aware of Crimson Tide, the brand, and the software. Initially, in the last year, we've pretty much been focused mainly on the security aspect, the industry. Jamaica is known for having some security issues. So we really rolled out what was considered our object detection software. So behind me, you'll kind of see something on the TV, it's detecting like people and cars, in whether it's daytime, nighttime, and not just that, it can detect guns, whether it's a handgun, a rifle, things like that. We have trained the artificial intelligence to do these things. So within the private sector, security, we've really been making some headway there. Believe in it was 2022, or it wasn't last year, the JCF Expo, Transformation Expo. Not sure if you got a chance to visit that. That was a very good conference where the Jamaica Constabulary Force was rolling out, all this new technology that would be coming to Jamaica soon. We were honored to be able to present our software there, similar to how we're going to be trying to present our software and doing live demos at the real estate conference. So I implore anyone who wishes to kind of get a first hand view of any of these demos, they can come and actually see much of the things that I'm discussing here right now. And that's kind of what we've been doing. But the real estate market is interested. When we did get in touch with them to be a sponsor, they've jumped at the opportunity, because there are not many companies with the AI knowledge currently locally on the ground.
I see. And kind of moving more general outside of real estate in Jamaica, how have you felt that the Jamaica as a whole has been either accepting or using AI? And as you said before, that AI can be used to help accelerate Jamaica's growth. And
Yeah.
where do you think we are in terms of making it part of maybe not day-to-day life, but
Yeah.
using it for exactly that to help grow and progress
Mhm.
Jamaica?
Well, most people today, in terms of their day-to-day interactions with AI, in terms of a majority of Jamaicans, I believe they would be using what is known as Chat GPT, which is a language model, right? These language models that can be used in a chatbot type of environment, they're very good. They help to scale, a lot of businesses, such as, whether people are doing documentation, research, things of that nature. That's what Jamaica mainly is interacting with right now on the ground. There are others who are playing with, AI avatars. They're playing with AI video, content creators, right? That is a very big thing now in terms of what Jamaicans may be using. But we see, in terms of Crimson Tide, within this year, especially with the conference that we're doing, and we're going to be doing other conferences as well, plus throwing our own conference sometime this year. We see that people are going to have a much better appreciation for AI, especially knowing that there is an artificial intelligence software that is a product of Jamaica, right? One of the greatest fears in AI, and in the advent of Crimson Tide being established, where we're speaking with our partners, is that in terms of technology such as this, you really would want to have a local home base company, and individuals who are Jamaican and tied to Jamaica, because you're dealing with a lot of um, heavy data and private information, right? And you want to know that this type of information, when you're not just dealing with the chatbots, but you're dealing with AI in general, what is going on. um it I see that Jamaicans will be able to adapt to this acceleration that we're discussing, Winthrop. So I see very shortly, as AI, not the knowledge of AI, and more companies are expressing that they're using AI in their companies, and people are interacting, whether it's facial recognition, object detections, whether it's at BPOs, they're using AI to help them in their in their workflows. All of this kind of stuff, people are going to naturally say, okay, well, it's not just Chat GPT, there's so much more. And what I do see is that people and businesses are going to have to adapt and retrain many people and many sectors in order to adapt to how AI is working in their business models.
Oh, great points all around. I see and I want to get into the BPO discussion shortly, but I see, with Chat GPT, like I see a lot of people using it as a crutch, and
Right.
even my team, I could tell as soon as they send me something with Chat GPT, I'm like, come on, and even I'll
Yeah.
get emails and messages, and it's just like you put in one question,
Mhm.
and they think that that's it. It sounds good, it looks good, but
Right.
to like somebody who's in this, it's just like, oh, come on, that was so lazy, and I'm not going to take that seriously. And
Correct.
so what I would like to see is like almost like a training sort of thing, because of like using these technologies, right? Using these large language models, of like it's an iterative process. It's not the one thing that you put in. And like one of like the biggest examples I learned, like when this stuff first started coming out, was with Midjourney. So we did like a
Yeah.
real world example with Midjourney here on my live stream. And then so me as a layman, so to speak, who is putting these inputs into Midjourney and getting these like beautiful images coming out, compared to say my brother, who's a photographer, who can put in like the different language of like the shutter speed, the type of
Correct. Correct.
camera, the lens,
Yes.
the type of
Yes.
photographer. And so his output and what he gets is going to be just so much
Different.
more beautiful, like crazy different,
Correct.
right? So the
Correct.
same thing when we come back to Chat GPT, and it's like I don't want people looking at this thing as just like, oh, I no longer have to be smart, I no longer need to
Correct.
read, I no longer need to
Correct.
do this because the computer is going to do it for me. No,
Right.
because from a global competitive standpoint, those folks who stayed in school, who read their books, who expanded their brains and their minds, they're going to
Correct.
get so much more out of these programs and out of this artificial intelligence. And
Yep.
so like that's one thing that I would say that I don't like seeing. And again, this is both like within my team, which we talk about, and then also like inbound, like what I'm receiving. Like, and again, when I receive these things, like I'm not going to take it seriously because I can see right through
Yes.
it.
Yes, and very good point. Very good point. Hence why throughout the interview, I've been kind of ensuring that, as I said, at Crimson Tide, we're not advocating that AI is something to hold as a crutch in terms of the large language models in that business aspect, right? Or taking someone's job just to take it. A company say, "Oh, we have a chat bot, we don't need customer service agents anymore." No, the reality is, as you just explained, Winthrop, is that you do need the human factor there in order to be able to keep a sense of reality, right? You can't just have machines alone that are interacting with people. Human beings have to have that final audit of what that output is. And we're very high advocates of that where people should be trained, especially in Jamaica. That's actually why I came back to Jamaica with the software, because we were in the United States, we were building in Miami, and I just love Jamaica. I saw the opportunity of where Jamaica is going in terms of economics, the real estate market, the future of Jamaica, right? And investments coming into Jamaica. Anybody's driving around the country right now in Jamaica, all you're going to see is development, everywhere, right? Cranes everywhere, and that's the first sign of knowing that this is the generation of building. Now throughout that building, people can take advantage of this in terms of across the board. And the AI application is just one of the applications that every single business, every single industry, and every single person individually will be affected by some part of this software over the next 10 years. So it would behoove anyone to kind of align themselves and start to get the necessary knowledge within their space, whether you're in real estate, security, finance, etc. That how can AI be applied into your industry, and then reach out to some form of professionals to then say, hey, we're interested in doing this. How can we create a sandbox and create some kind of understanding so that we can build a workflow as this thing starts to get, technology grows.
Great points. And just before, you had brought up BPOs, and I have my own opinion, but I want to
Yeah.
hear
No, go
hear
ahead.
yours before I chime in.
Yes.
And so my question is, how do you think AI is going to affect the BPO sector in the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I get that question all the time, Winthrop, to be honest. Behind closed doors too. um all right, without having to scare anyone, and a lot of markets are out there, but it would it's very important that the executives of these BPO institutions, these companies, um, find out how to use AI to keep their business models intact. AI can definitely scale BPO operations, but again, it's going to disrupt that type of business model a lot. So it comes back to what we were discussing. How do you train your employees, humans, to have that type of understanding in the business model when AI is being applied to, the BPO industry? Therefore, you're going to have these, you're going to have people that are going to be in high demand in terms of their talent. It's almost they went to get an extra additional layer of information, similar to how I would go to do some courses to get that additional advanced knowledge. That's going to end up having to be done for a lot of the employees at the BPO in order for, that business model to be kept intact, or else, yes, softwares will be able to disrupt that type of industry a lot.
I mean, so I'll say it straight up. Like, I think it's a wrap.
Yeah, well, you said
I think
it.
like it's a wrap, straight up.
Yeah,
And I say that from the perspective of like not only like kind of working with these technologies and being in the creative and media industry like every single day, but then also I have a friend who works for one of the largest technology companies in the world.
yes,
And his last year, his job shifted, and he's a leader, and his job shifted from essentially um taking his I forget where his team is. Like part of his team is he has like the East Coast team in the States and then the West Coast team
hmm,
in San Francisco,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then he
yeah.
has a
California
team
and
in
Florida, I'm assuming.
right, but then he also has a team in like Indonesia, for example. And so
Hmm.
what they're doing basically, and it's because of AI, like they changed every I almost said the name of the company. Because they changed
Yeah,
everything,
careful.
they are basically getting rid of they don't realize that the team that they have in Indonesia is building something to get rid of themselves, if you know what I'm saying. And it's
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of AI.
yeah, yeah.
And then even within their East Coast, West Coast team here in the West, they were like, are we building something that's gonna well, they actually kind of admitted they're building something that they're gonna lose their jobs next. And they
Correct.
kind of acknowledge that because of AI. And so like those jobs in the East and the Far East, like he's like they're gone. And we're talking, we're not talking about hundreds, we're talking about thousands of jobs are
Yeah,
gone. Like, and it's going to
millions,
be
millions. Yeah, millions
instantaneously,
of, yeah,
eventually millions. Yes.
yeah.
And so then when, I bring it back to, I mean, the stuff that I've been seeing with these, and when you say like, when you say bots, you know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, like bots taking over,
Yes.
real estate. People think about bots in the terms of like press one for English, press two for like
Yeah, that's
no,
the old
these
school bots. No.
we almost have to come up with a new word. You will
Yeah.
not be able to tell the difference between a human and a robot. And I predict I'd say 2 years, but I think it's going to be less than that.
No,
It would be impossible.
it's faster than that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
happening now. It's just most of the developers like myself, my team, who are accessing and playing with that type of technology. We don't throw some of that out to the public that quickly. It, it's dangerous, right? Especially when you're dealing with cloning, people and their voices and things like that, not knowing, who is who. It has to have some form of regulations. And that's, I Crimson Tide is very open and ready to be a part of that grandfather process of helping to ensure that Jamaica safely, understands and applies laws for AI for that very reason. But it's happening very fast. It's not going to be 2 years. Like right now, people can be tricking people. Someone, just the other day, actually, a congressman, some hackers were playing a game on him, right? And they called him. They had his son was on social media. So if for the audience, this is who uses social media a lot, and like yourself, Winthrop, this is how this works. People can just go on your YouTube, Winthrop, and I can just record your voice of you talking for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? Take certain words that I want, put it through the AI, what is called a neural network system, and that whole system, and I can start pulling out the output of you talking. I can clone you, right? And this becomes a problem. So a lot of the new softwares that are going to be coming out is, how do you tell whether this is a real person that I'm talking to or not? An example of that is, many people have to use it day to day now when you're accessing websites, the capture thing when it says, are you a human being? Please choose this photo, sidewalks or buses or stuff like that. That is to recognize whether that's a bot or a human being, as you were just discussing, right? But we're getting so advanced in AI now that if someone is having a discussion like this, at what point would you know, Winthrop, are you actually speaking to an AI avatar or not? Like, and as technology gets really, really better, it's going to be very hard to differentiate what's real from fake. Hence, like, we are actually working on some software in the background. We're doing R&D right now in order to help people, whether it's through a blockchain software where if you're talking to someone, you can show your blockchain token to say you're a human being, right? Something like that, because it would only be a human that can be able to do certain things, right? So it's going to be difficult though, Winthrop, but exciting at the same time.
Agreed. And as you talk about the executives and the BPO sector, it's I say, and you also brought up like policymakers and having certain things put in place to protect the public,
Right.
but in a very large way. And this is what I'm saying this because I don't want Jamaica to be caught with its pants down.
Yeah.
Going back to my friend and his example of essentially getting rid of this thousands
Itself.
of jobs and like
Correct.
just like that, right? And so there are, I want to say tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, but let's say tens of thousands of jobs in Jamaica that are in the BPO sector.
Yeah.
And imagine tomorrow that there's this technology that's going to save these executives millions and millions of dollars with robots, and they could do the same exact thing but better, and don't kill me for this, but then you have a robot that shows up on time, doesn't give attitude, grammatically correct, stays within line of all of your company culture, your policies, this, that, and the third.
Less liability. That's how they're going to look at it. Less liability. Winthrop.
And so it's just like, it's so incentivized, these executives.
Yes.
Of course they're going to get rid of the jobs. Why would they keep it? Why?
Hence, it's very important, and that's a massive point. So it's going to take a lot more of these type of discussions, right? So I'm very happy that you actually brought that up, and that's hence why we are actually going to be throwing an event ourselves, meaning Crimson Tide, similar to like a TED Talk kind of environment, right? Where we want to ensure that the ministers, the government, the stakeholders in private sector understand exactly what you're saying right now, right? And how can we make sure that companies are incentivized to train individuals rather than remove them by just using software, right? I am here telling you that my software can do a lot of what you're saying, Winthrop, with a few click of a button and just some customizing. But is Crimson Tide or myself trying to do that to my own brethren, my own sisterin, my own nation of people? No, right? Would a foreign company talking to executives here push them in that direction and show them how much money they can save? Absolutely, right? So it's about the morality and the ethics and the principles behind the institutions that are building some of these softwares. You're absolutely right. When I was building some of the software, I as well knew that I could be building myself out of a job, right? knowing what we're going to release to the public or not. Hence why one of the very first softwares within AI that we did release, as I mentioned earlier, was the gun detection, human detection, perimeter breach, how to protect your property, your assets. So make AI be an asset in that regard to, an individual rather than an enemy to an individual. Let them feel like, this is something that I need close to me, whether it's through my business, my home, because supermarkets, I'm losing a lot of, pilferage, a lot of money. Whether it's at the financial institutions, I'm having a lot of fraud, scamming, right? The ATMs, things of that nature. Let's just say if we can then train a workforce in Jamaica, because the culture of Jamaica is very laid back, especially after lunchtime and you eat your food, work slows down a little bit. But how can we change that culture? Okay, instead of using full-blown AI to fire people, let's maybe use facial recognition of our employees. Let's see what time they arrive at work, what time they left, where are they on the compound, things like that. Then, executives can interact with their employees and say, look, hey, you're reaching late to work, see the proof here. You leave early, see the proof here. Let's try not to do that. And try and build a better rapport with their employees. Maybe employees now at that point will say, wow, there are extra eyes watching me. Maybe I need to now be on my best behavior. I think that would be a way better middle ground between the employee and the executives, rather than the employee just be fired tomorrow because the executives bought some software.
Right, but like the reality is jobs are gonna go. There's no ifs,
100%.
ands, or buts
Yeah,
about it.
100%.
Jobs are gonna go. And
Yeah.
all I would say, what I'm really essentially advocating for here is this, like, let's see it and do something before it actually happens. Like, it's going to happen. I was having, this is not really AI, but technology and
No, go
disruption.
ahead. Yeah.
But I was having a discussion with some taxi drivers here at the hotel at Travelers, and we have taxi drivers who've been with us for years. Some of them over 20 years, some of them 30 years, to be honest. And they were waiting outside in their normal spot, and a guest comes out the hotel, and they ask them, "Hey, do you need a ride?" And they're like, "Sorry, I have an Uber." And so Uber just came to Negril like not even a month, and they were like, Uber, how can they do this? How can they do this? I have a red plate. I did this. I did that. I went through Judah. I have certified insurance. And a guy with I'm assuming it was a guy in a Voxy rolled up in a white plate vehicle.
Right, regular person. Right.
And they were just livid and like, we can't allow this and this. I was like, listen, guys, listen. Like, this is gonna happen, whether you like it or not. The best thing for you to do is download Uber, get on it, and get with it, and adapt. Yeah. And like, that's what I'm advocating for. And so we're gonna have them come on the live stream at some point and just understand their point. But this has happened in so many different places around the world, and you had taxi associations. I mean, New York is probably one of the most prominent examples globally, but you had taxi associations fighting against this technology. Yeah. And, they were saying...
And they didn't win. That yellow cab, right?
Nope, they did not win.
They did not win
with them. And my father was in the taxi business for over 30 years in New York and Brooklyn. And so, like, trust me, I understand. But you got to understand also, too, from a public perspective, that there are too many people benefiting from this, right? So you have the individual, and you got to look at this from the perspective of a government and government policy, is that from here locally, you have a person with a vehicle who could be coming from their 9-to-5 job and then driving home, but then he can also pick up a passenger on the way to earn money. Right. So it's a side hustle, an industry that's being created in a country where there was almost zero investment made by the government itself. Correct. But an individual person is earning foreign income coming into their bank account. That is, there's no physical monetary transaction happening. It's bank account to bank account, and they get paid, and they're going to be happy. And then, and I also gave the example, I'm in the hotel industry here. We look at Airbnb. And I told them, I was like, the same thing happened to us here at Travelers. We are a hotel that has, I think, over 30 different type of regulations and different tests and exams or whatever that we need to pass in order to be a hotel with our beach
Right,
license,
right, right.
CPD code, fire, safety, yada, yada, yada. We have to have all these things that we have to pass. And then all of a sudden comes along
Somebody with
Airbnb.
the app again. Yep.
Airbnb. And then all of a sudden, now I'm competing with somebody who has an extra room or has a couch in their living room.
Correct.
And that becomes my competition. And they didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was take a picture on their phone, upload it to a website, and now they're in business. And on top of that, they're not getting taxed. They don't pay any tax. They get, they pay, I think, 3% to Airbnb, and that's it. So they have nothing compared to the overhead that we have as a hotel, but yet we're competing with them. And so what did we do to adapt? We put a few of our rooms on Airbnb.
Simple.
Now it's even. Now it's even.
Simple. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's I wouldn't say even, but at least we're in the game together at that
Right.
point. And so and I kind of bringing it back to our discussion with AI. I mean, it's not so black and white A to B, but the adaptation or the mindset of adaptation has to happen. Like, what's going to happen when, going back to taxi drivers, when AI is here, but it's in the form of automated vehicles?
Yeah.
When trucks are here that are going to be making deliveries, again, they show up on time, no attitude, deliveries are made. Safety is going all the way up, and like you said, liability has come way, way, way,
Way
way, way
down.
down.
Right. And
So
that's the
what are
bottom
we
line
gonna
for
do?
a company. Yeah.
Right.
You know,
So
I see Winthrop. It's a perfect point you make. The balance that's going to have to be struck. And people who are really taking in this interview should take note of this part right here, that AI is one of the technologies that's going to force everybody to have to adapt some way or form. Crimson Tide kind of understands and sees the future, knowing very well that you're not going to be able to stop this type of technology, right? No regulation is even going to be able to stop it. You can only kind of sandbox it and maintain it and kind of direct it into certain parts. What's going to have to happen is companies such as Crimson Tide and other companies, in terms of data set training, whatever models that has to be built, we're going to have to be able to create these institutions to bring in a lot of these people who are losing the jobs that the software took over, right? So if a software took over, and let's say all the BPOs in Jamaica are now using softwares and they fired all of their employees, what essentially has to happen is, okay, those companies are going to need to be serviced their software. That software just doesn't run. It may run like that for now, but things change, right? Scenarios change. So they're going to always need to update software, update data set models, create models. So there are going to be many more jobs that are going to need to be created. The truth, though, is, Winthrop, we currently don't have that type of formal training here in Jamaica, right? So we are still at a disadvantage, even though there is a solution, right? We're still at a disadvantage. So that's why it was key for myself, my team, to try and come to Jamaica early, establish ourselves here early, make some great partnerships, right? We're working with some major, names in various industries, across various industries, to try and ensure that we help them to prepare for this mass, input of data and upgrades of various models and systems across Jamaica. People are just going to start walking around, as you say, in Winthrop one day and just realize, oh wow, this company is using AI now, right? And then next morning you may see there are less people in the bank, right, or less people in a BPO office. So it's about adaptation.
right, agreed. And I'm gonna ask everybody in the audience, if you have any questions for Anu, please get them in. I saved a bunch of them already, but we're gonna move on to the
Awesome.
Q&A section shortly here. But I want to get your thoughts on UBI, on universal basic income, and do you think that's a future that we're heading to?
Ooh, yeah, it would want to seem like that, Winthrop. It would want to seem like that if a lot of things don't change, and a lot of, let's say, a majority of the citizenry are relying on the government and a lot of the governmental institutional privileges and benefits, then yes, that's going to be a system that's going to take over.
Yeah, it's something they came up with I forget the politician's name. This was during the last presidential election.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was from New York, but he was the first person that I heard like talk about this because of the direction. And this was before AI is what it is today.
Right.
And he started talking about like every citizen getting 1,000, like every U.S. citizen getting $1,000 per month,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, because of
Right.
the way technology is going,
Right.
and then jobs would be lost. I was like, man, it sounds good, but like do we really need to do that?
Again,
But then,
relying, right? You're just full,
you started. Thank you, Andrew Yang. He was the one who did that. Was the name of the
Okay.
politician.
Yes, Andrew Yang. Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
then so and then like as I started to think about it, and then also fast forwarding now to 2024, we're looking at like, again, let's stick with I'm not trying to create these nightmare scenarios, but like let's stick
No.
with like BPO, right? The BPO
Yeah.
sector. Like imagine tomorrow, like all those jobs are gone. Like
Right.
no matter what, there is no industry at least that I can think of that you can employ those people at a
Right
rate
away.
that would
Right.
be satisfactory enough where there wouldn't be crazy disruption in our economy. Although there are, I will say that there are other sections of the economy where jobs are needed. So, like, for example, you're talking about like driving around Jamaica and seeing cranes and development and construction
Right.
everywhere. There's a
Right.
very high shortage of construction workers in Jamaica right now. So,
Correct. Correct.
maybe they shift from one to the another. I don't know, but like my point is like let's plan for it. Whatever
No,
that future
and you're
inevitably looks
right
like,
about that.
plan for it.
A matter of fact, you struck something that I'm actually going to talk to my team when I get off this interview, because that data is important to collect. Like, where are all the rest of the jobs at in demand right now on the island in the event that you lose 5% of the workforce? Where can we shift that 5%? Where can we advertise to these people that are just losing the jobs? Hey, go here now and put out your resume so you're not out of work for 60 days, 90 days, and then you have a whole different issue now in Jamaica in the sense of your unemployment rate. Because as of recent, I would notice that Jamaica is boasting that we're at the lowest unemployment rate in our history. Well, we're going to have a major issue, as you're saying, Winthrop, if we don't plan properly for this type of disruptive technology, right? So, as I said earlier, we are advocating and trying to reach out to various government, non-government agencies, stakeholders. We're showing them the technology, right? Live demos, on spot in Jamaica, not something on a computer screen, just as a video. We're doing this live so people can get to understand and feel, wait, okay, I see how this is going to affect my business now. That reality, when it hits them in their boardroom, it now accelerates them to try to understand AI a little bit more. Hopefully we do uh enforce on imply where we enforce upon them the knowledge, right? That, hey, try not to use this type of software to remove um, as many employees, right? Trying to see how best that you can scale your business without doing that. So hopefully everything maintains without people losing a lot of jobs. That's something that is scary as well. Hello?
Sorry, I lost you for a second there.
Yeah, I realized. Sorry, I just had to refresh.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you were talking last. Do you wanna finish your thought before we get into the question?
Yeah, I'm not sure where you last heard, but no, I was just pretty much saying that we're seeing this thing on the same island, Winthrop. So planning for not eventualities, but things that are actually coming down the pipeline. Like, we know they are coming, right? So I was saying that you gave me something to actually go look at, right? As you're saying, construction jobs. How many construction jobs are there? Kind of do the homework for people. What does it take to get qualified for these construction jobs? If you're not qualified, How long would it take to get qualified? Because people are going to have to adapt, Winford. Somebody who was probably doing BPO may have to decide, I'm going to have to do something else to earn for my family. But if there's no company or institution, government agency that is actually paying attention to this very important fact that you're talking about, then yeah, Jamaica is going to be faced with a major crisis regarding unemployment in the very near future.
I could tell you too, like being in the hotel industry, like we have this we're I want to say we're as bad as the construction industry, but
Yeah,
there is a shortage of
train.
employable people. Like
Right.
yeah, like trained or untrained. And it's
Okay.
not just, we're a small hotel here in Negril, but like when I speak to my colleagues in larger hotels, they have the same issue, is like getting their people to come in and getting yes, trained qualified people for
Right.
sure, but
Right.
it's a struggle, and it's been like this really since post COVID, and it's been very very difficult. And
Yes.
like there, and it could, the prime minister, like you said earlier, he speaks and boasts about like having the lowest unemployment in history. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why like all these people are working and have jobs already, but then
Correct.
we don't have like the businesses that are already existing are having a struggle. And like we have like there's the biggest hotel, I talk about this all the time, the biggest hotel on in Jamaica is coming to this side of the island. That's 2,000 rooms,
Princess
Princess
Hotel.
Hotel,
Yeah.
and we don't have enough employees already. And it's just like, where are these
Yeah.
people coming from? Where are these workers
Right.
coming from? So yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I just
actually am.
wanted to keep that in your research.
I pay attention to. That's why I knew, because I was like that. That was these massive infrastructural development, projects that are coming. I myself, my team, because we're heavy into data, right? We look at data all day, every day, training data, and we actually said to ourselves when we're driving around the island, wow, all this development, right? Are there enough trained people right now executing this? And the answer is no, because the truth is, when you look at who are building most of these projects, developments, mostly they're importing, they're bringing in foreigners to help with the construction, right? That again, in terms of this discussion we're talking about, a lot of that money is leaving Jamaica, right? Because that money is being remitted now to the families of these foreigners that are coming in to help to build, right? That's how they take care of their families. And of course, in a human nature, nothing is wrong with that. But when we're talking about, by Jamaica, for Jamaica, kind of looking out for Jamaica, um, I would say that the citizenry, well, should be offered a lot of that. But then again, yeah, it comes with a balance here, Winfred. Is like, does this most of the citizenry want to do some of these jobs? It comes down to a problem that Florida faced, right? They were, the jobs in terms of the cutting of grass, landscaping, a lot of these jobs went to, the Hispanics, the Latinos. They chose to do these jobs. It became a $1 billion business, right? Then, but the problem after a while is that, in the American lifestyle culture, in terms of status, a lot of people don't want to be seen cutting grass, right? Because you're saying, oh, that's the Spanish people's jobs. But then they disrespected the Spanish people. I think maybe 2 months ago, it was on social media, right? And then the Spanish people decided, okay, we're going to take a halt on cutting all grass in certain communities
Hmm.
for a while, and let's see what happens. And here it comes down to the citizenry. Nobody wanted to pick up none of those jobs, so they had to apologize to the Spanish community, right, for them to come back and do those jobs. So here I see that Jamaica is going to kind of find themselves, or is in that bracket where some of us, we're scrolling through the phone, we're seeing high life, we're seeing fancy life, we're seeing the easy life. We don't want to do this, we don't want to do that, not really knowing a lot of money is into the construction. They're getting paid high amounts of money, more than an office job, right? But it's all about these lifestyle and people's mindsets, Winford.
No, I think that's a big problem. A big part of it is this social media and
Yeah.
everybody trying to live this Instagram lifestyle, or thinking the people who are showing off their Instagram
Are actually
lifestyle
living a real one.
It's like, come on, like, and I see some of these people in real life, like they
Yeah,
broke. A lot of them are broke,
hundred
and they're just
percent.
like, yes. And so, it's. I mean, I could go so many ways with this, but the point is, this is like there are, I think, a lot of opportunities to in Jamaica and in construction for sure.
Mhm.
And I am very pro Jamaica. Like this is very much what this channel is built around, right? But
You
I'm pro
moved back,
Jamaica.
right? That was your
Yes, move
story.
here,
Yes. Yes.
and so it's very much about like come here, move here, Jamaica first, as you said
Right,
earlier.
right.
Giving jobs to Jamaicans, but at the
Yes.
same time we cannot, at least my perspective is, I cannot blame, say, these foreign direct investment and these companies coming in and building these
Correct.
rooms, investing in Jamaica, and they come here to employ Jamaicans and they can't find them. And then, like, what
Exactly.
are we going to do?
That
And they
was my
start
point.
recruiting their
Yeah.
own people from
Yeah.
different parts of the world. And like you said, they're sending the money back home and
Mhm.
remitting it back home.
Yes.
And can we blame them? Can we blame them?
It's hard. It's hard to, I feel the pain of the citizenry because it, it's like they want to say that, oh, you should have protected these jobs for us, right? But then it comes to what you just said, like, okay, when there are opportunities, when the people show up and are offering even other new jobs, you're not going for them. You're not trying to even get qualified for them. As much as I love Jamaica, if we're talking business and just facts, our culture is a very laid back, culture, party, that kind of life. We're chill, very chill people, mostly in that regard. But when you compare yourself to, let's say, societies in, let's say, the Middle East, various other cultures, you see the rapid pace that they're moving. Cultures that may not have alcohol, in their culture, right? Not that I'm advocating to push that on Jamaica, but what I'm saying is you can actually see why some of these cultures and societies make the decisions they make. It's because even the Chinese and other cultures, they have decided as a whole, it's not what the nation can do for me, but it's what, not what I can do for the nation, or that saying, right? Not what the nation can do for me was what I can do for the nation. That is the reality that they're all moving on, because they're thinking 100 years ahead, 200 years ahead. Jamaicans are really kind of thinking, what's the next thing I need to scroll and look at right now? We're caught in that kind of whirlpool. So hopefully, as things progress in terms of the infrastructural development, as people get seeing that their jobs are being taken, and we reach that breaking point, it has to kind of happen, Winthrop, right? We have to kind of reach that breaking point for Jamaicans to wake up and go, okay, it has happened. What do I do now? Unfortunately, they're not heeding the signs. We don't take advice very well in this country, right? Most of us think we know it all already, right? So we have to reach that breaking point, I believe, and that crossroads, so that people can actually feel it. That, okay, if I don't make this decision now to kind of learn something new, upgrade myself, recreate myself in some way, to adapt, as you say, very important word, I'm going to be left behind.
So, I mean, essentially, what you're saying is that we, as a society, and I've said this before, like we need to become more productive as a society, and that
100%.
starts with the individual. That
Yes.
starts with the individual. It's just like you got to start thinking, how can I make myself more
Better.
valuable as a
Yes.
human being? And it's
Yes.
just like, and it could be in any capacity. It could be even a one of my wait staff team here. It could be you as an individual. Maybe, hey, I want to learn to code. I want to learn to
Right.
be a YouTube creator. And it's
Right.
like developing this mindset of learning, of
Mhm.
adapting, because there is no other time in history, there is no other time in human history where you as an individual can literally take your destiny, at least to this level, your destiny in your own hand, from the convenience of a phone in your pocket. And that could
Correct.
come in so many different ways. That could come in from learning, like just sitting there on YouTube and learning a brand new skill. And
Mhm.
you all of a sudden become valuable to Travelers Beach Resort. You become
YouTube
valuable to,
University.
and you just sit there and you learn. But
Correct.
it's easy for me to say, and I understand that. But what is missing from me saying it and the gap between me saying it and then
Mhm.
the execution and you actually doing it is discipline. It's like, do we have a
100%.
society and culture like where you're going to tell a kid and the kid is going to be just a self-starter, and is going to have the discipline to sit there on their phone for hours and hours a day for an
Mhm.
extended period of time and to learn a new skill set as opposed to going on Instagram or TikTok and just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And it's just like, how do
Correct.
we take that energy and put it in this direction?
Mhm.
And it comes down to like,
Yes.
it's coach. And I'm saying, and this is not unique to Jamaica. Don't get me
No,
wrong.
no, 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 no.
This is
It's all
kids,
over.
this is all over. But again, we have an opportunity, and I think as people and as individuals, that's all we can ask for is a shot. There can't be this
Correct.
entitlement because I'm this or because I didn't have that, I should get this. No, we got to get that out of our heads, and we got
Mhm.
to get this like I'm going to take my destiny into my own hand. We have
Mhm.
the opportunity, we have a chance, and I think that's
Mhm.
all we can ask for.
I mean, and just on that note, in harmony with what you're saying, real quick, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is like a throwaway idea at this point. It's the value of brand Jamaica is so important right now. It is what probably made you come back home. It's what made me come back home in the sense of where we see the country going. If we thought that the country wasn't going anywhere, why would we try to invest at this point? No, it is obvious that the country has a major infrastructural boom and economic boom that is on the way and that is going to flourish. Now, with that being said, which is on the positive side, obviously there's going to be this crossroads that we're discussing, Winthrop, and that crossroads is um, some people unfortunately have to learn the hard way. Then they're not going to take the signs, they don't listen. So for the people who will listen, it's prepare, as you're saying, go on YouTube University, teach yourself a skill, learn about what you can do, talk to your executives ahead of time. Hey, I think we have a good idea that we could use AI with. That way you try not to make you lose your job, right? But various things that need to happen where the culture needs to take a hold of their personal life, their situation, and look at this thing from brand Jamaica. So if everybody wants to be a YouTube or an Instagram influencer and star, okay, great. Eventually content is going to get boring eventually. But if we're talking about brand Jamaica, think about, Winthrop, if you had, okay, some of the most famous YouTube streamers or live streamers came to Jamaica the other day, right, for Carnival. I believe one of them is called Kai Sinet and Aiden Ross and a couple of these other guys, right? Where all of the superstars go on their live streams because they have millions and millions of people that are sitting down, Winthrop, and watching them all day, sometimes for 24 hours, right? So brands and everybody are clearly realizing that these young guys found some kind of niche of keeping the attention of a bunch of young people for hours at a time. So now and these guys, and this is a signal to Jamaica, these guys come to Jamaica because they love Jamaica, they love the content in Jamaica, right? All these superstars, singers, Drake, everybody, DJ Khaled, everybody comes to Jamaica. We're such an infectious culture. Now, if everybody wants to be an influencer and all of that, we need to have that type of unity. Just the same we have those influencers coming together, coming to Jamaica, using the content of Carnival and went and made millions and millions of dollars in one day. The unity of our people and the culture, we're not business in terms of business savvy wise. We don't understand yet how to even take advantage using technology and that kind of space. We're all kind of in a crab in barrel mentality of I want more viewers than you and you. They don't see the business aspect. It's what I'm saying, Winthrop. So
Mhm.
we kind of even still need to kind of educate our people how to utilize these opportunities, even if it means working together to go get a bigger pie in the global market. We're only seeing the trees, we're not seeing the forest some of the
Right.
times.
A great point, and Shauna brings up exactly what you're saying. Most of the people who are capitalizing and monetizing off of brand Jamaica are
Mhm.
mostly non-Jamaicans. It seems
Correct.
like other people see our value and not some Jamaicans.
Perfectly said. And I sit and watch it every day. You know, a lot of people are complaining, oh, there's no space to make money. It's just that they're not thinking outside the box. They're in a frame of, I said that we call it bad mind culture in Jamaica, right?
Mhm.
So everybody want to be the next person who can go on the Instagram to say, yeah, man, you bad mind me. For some reason, it makes them feel like they made it, right? Because somebody bad mind me. It's like such these little nuances, as you were saying, people are faking it till they make it kind of thing, right? Jamaica needs to take a bigger approach. At what is happening. Everybody comes to Jamaica to take advantage of our culture,
Man,
our
crazy.
economic power. And our
Mhm.
economic power is really in our human resource. Because think about it, Jamaicans are paying 2 times what it costs for a car. We're paying more for food. And we're doing all of that. We're buying these big homes. We're buying these big Porsche. All of these things, Winthrop. And yet still we find the time to smile and party and do it while other cultures are in depression and all of that. So no matter how much they push Jamaicans, somehow we still find a way to make it through, enjoy it even through adversities, or no matter if the economic hitman raise interest rate little more, we still decide that we're going to buy the BIM or the Markex or whatever whatever it is, right? So it's like they can't stop that Jamaican fire. But it is about now reharnessing and refocusing that energy as a whole. I hope before I leave this earth that I can actually live to see Jamaicans becoming more unified, similar to cultures like China, the whole the Middle East, some of the Muslim countries operate in the sense of, like let's say Qatar specifically. How did they create a sovereign wealth fund? How did they make their citizenry get free education, free healthcare, things like that, and utilize the resources of the country, the human resource, so that the citizenry does benefit, and at the same time advertise to the world so that they come and they benefit from this tourism revenue as well. So but of course, you and I know that a lot of that is just things that happened prior to even me and you being born, right? This is a long-term cultural thing. So but with the renaissance and advent of technology such as AI we're discussing, open minds such as yourself and others who are coming back to Jamaica to build and support the rebuilding of Jamaica, I do see that we have an opportunity in the very near future.
And I like that word that you use, renaissance. And
Yes,
I believe that we may not know, sometimes you're in a renaissance and you don't know you are, and it
correct,
won't be until
correct,
10, 20 years when we look back that, that was the Jamaican renaissance. But
correct.
we are, for sure, as a country, we are in a transitionary phase,
Yes,
and you can feel it, right? And we're
100%.
going through a lot of teething processes here. And as I remember, the prime minister said like 2 years ago, he's like, Jamaica is under construction, and we
Yeah,
are. And
yeah,
I would also like to like not only hope that we are in under physical construction, but like we also have to be under mental
mental
construction
construction,
as well.
correct.
Because it doesn't matter. We could have the nicest building, the nicest roads, but like you said, if we're not working together and we're not looking out for each other,
We're gonna destroy it.
helping each other, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't
No,
even matter.
yeah.
So we really do need to move in that direction in a big way. And the last thing I'll say before we get into the Q&A, which I've been talking about for like 20 minutes, but
It's okay.
the is an example I always like to give. And that is a waitress that we had that was working for us. And she made like these little like arts and craft things that she did. But what she was doing is like she's taking pictures with her phone and selling them on Etsy. And you don't have to be in Jamaica and make your money from Jamaica and Jamaicans. Like,
Correct,
the
correct,
world that we live in. If you're a
correct.
Jamaican YouTuber, for example, your AdSense, your YouTube AdSense is coming from Google. So you don't have
Yes,
to rely on like going to an office and say, "Hey, do you want to be a sponsor for my brand or whatever?" You don't have
correct,
to do that. It's
correct.
a skill set. Like if you learn how to do, say, social media marketing or whatever, you don't
Yes,
have to go to a locally owned cook shop or business or even a big corporate Jamaica company and say, hey, I can manage your social media. Like you're no longer in this isolated situation of only having to work with Jamaica and Jamaica. And this is coming from a person who is and has gone through the struggle of trying to work with certain entities in Jamaica, right? And so
Yes,
like, you don't want to work with me? Forget it. All right, we'll move on. We're gonna go out. Like, I'm not stuck here, and I want to
yes,
also advocate like you are not stuck here. You don't have to work for a Jamaica. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but if you're finding yourself, you're going against headwinds,
correct,
go
correct,
work.
correct.
And but also that also works in the reverse. That
Yes.
also works in the reverse. If I'm finding headwinds here in hiring and finding the right skill set that I'm
Then you
looking
gotta
for,
go right, right, right.
go
And I
outside.
and I am completely agreeing with that. That's why I'm saying it has to be though at this point where we have reached with technology just on a global scale, what's happening and the trajectory and at the speed of what is going. A lot of this has to be top down, right? So it has to be, governments and the institution, the executives who have to take on some of this responsibility, right? Seeing
Yep.
seeing the problems ahead of time that we're actually discussing on this show. Hopefully, they actually take this episode and review it a couple times because we're giving them some key insight into data that we're even looking at that they're having some problems, right? So the same way that they look at what you call sentiment analysis, right? So we can do that as well within AI. Now, when you do sentiment analysis for like voting polls and stuff of that nature, we kind of, that's one set of data that we're looking at. But now imagine, as we were saying, Winthrop, that we need to look at this other data, and such as where are the jobs? Where are the most money being made? Where are the tourists spending the most money? Kind of helping the Jamaicans to access some of this data in terms of entrepreneurship. They now know how to build business models if they're advertising to tourists, whether they're advertising in the restaurant industry. We have to have some form of um, information highways, infrastructural information highways in Jamaica. Maybe all background, but people should know, how do I go and access this data? In the United States, everything is about data. It's big data. So people know how to go get information and data. Here, it's very hard. Data is what's going to eventually be the solution to a lot of what we've been discussing, and actually analyzing that data to find solutions for people who lost jobs, who are trying to find a way to create new opportunities, right? That we're discussing, and also how the companies can still limit their liabilities without having to get rid of everybody.
Right. No, great points. And like you were saying, we have to prepare for all of the above.
Definitely.
Let's get into some of these questions here. This is from King Naldo. How safe is AI technology really? What about the risk of identity theft, fraud, and image manipulation through hacking of databases?
Good question. All right. So in terms of databases, your databases definitely need to be secure. And you're going to have to use very high level what is called algorithms, complex algorithms and encryptions in order to, create your various firewalls. It can be done. Not saying everything is unhackable, right? Things can be hacked, but if you have enough firewalls, enough systems, enough encryptions, and various algorithms to precede what's about to happen, then you can keep a database very safe. A matter of fact, you can allow a hacker to think he's hacking in and put him into an area that is just a sandbox, if you understand what I'm saying, Winthrop, where he can't really do anything, right? So it's all about knowing how to protect it. Obviously, that comes down to companies working with reputable institutions, people who actually have softwares, who have battle tested these softwares, who can do them or show it, such as ourselves or others. Don't just randomly go take somebody off who probably did some YouTube training and they build a computer and say, hey, I can build your database, right? That would be unsafe. As to how safe is it really, AI is safe in the hands of people who have built a proper source code and it has been tested, right? It's always important to have people show you, their battle testing, like who has been using their software, how long has it been out, kind of situation. and kind of go from that aspect. Identity theft. In Jamaica, we do have a policy, I believe the Data Privacy Act. So individuals would be protected and would be able to seek remedy if their identity is somehow stolen from somebody's database, let's say through facial recognition or some sort like that. um, but where people need to be concerned about AI really, which we're going in that direction, but I think if Google has done it or Apple has done it, Microsoft has done it, they're not really going to say that to the public right now, and it's a specific word. And Elon Musk and a couple people had written a letter, asking people to slow down until regulations come, and that word is called sentient, right? When all of these AI systems unify and can communicate with each other, and they unify its own self without any human being doing it at all, and it recognizes that I can move from this database to that database and unpack myself into a whole new environment, and it can think and do that on its own. Now, why would it do that? And the scary part is it would recognize that, oh wait, this human can shut me off. There's a mechanism to shut me off. If When AI, because it's not if, but when AI gets to that sentient form, that's like what we were kind of pre-programmed with these movies back in the day, like Terminator and all of that kind of stuff. Not saying that's what's going to happen, right? Just like, that's movie CGI stuff, but will like a car manufacturing company running full AI automated programs, can an AI take over that and just start building its own random car that it probably created in a software and 3D printed? Yes, right. A AI program would be able to just randomly do that, because it can think, and it has access to all of these resources such as the arms in the factory and things like that. Do you understand? So it's really the data farms, um, and any of these major factories such as Tesla and all of these other places that are using full automation, they have to really secure their databases, their informational systems, and their servers in order to not let some stuff really get out of control, if you understand what I'm saying.
And could you share with us how Crimson Tide protects its customers' data?
Yes, we actually, when we build, like, there's a server behind me, right? So some servers like this we build, and these servers we use for, let's say, object detection. We're not detecting guns or training anything, whether we're doing supermarkets, cashiers, anything like that. We build them and we give some of our customers a server such as this. On this server, we have various encryptions, algorithmic encryptions, to be able to ensure that if somebody's trying to breach the server, it's not going to be easy to be hacked, just like what I just said to you. And if somebody's breaching through it because it's on a unsafe network, which is not really Crimson Tide server, now we're talking somebody's network, let's say a customer's network that is being hacked. They see that the server is on the network, and then they're trying to get to the server. Okay, so they may have broken through the network and they're looking around at everything. Let's say it's a supermarket. They'll be able to see the POS systems, they'll be able to see other servers, and they may go, oh, this is an interesting server here, let me try and hack this server and get in to see what's on it, right? For us, we ensure that we have pretty much military grade algorithmic processes and firewalls that are going to ensure that our server is safe. Can't really spell out some of it for intellectual property reasons, but we have not had an issue. We've been using these servers for over 3 years. We're proud to say that we are a partner with Guardsman, who is a major player in the security field here. We did the demo with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we're looking to work with them as well. So, in terms of battle testing our software, it's important that anybody who is going to be working with AI, technology, that they work with people who can prove that their systems are protected, and they're working with reputable people who also have battle tested their system.
Great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I have a couple comments here from Tisha. This whole AI technology is scary. We have to keep up with the times, pivot, and have multiple streams of income. This is why
Yes.
purchasing real estate is so vital and selling
Selling
products.
products. Yes.
Um, this one is from Sharon. You guys are so on point. I would like to believe AI will not be taking jobs, but we are steering straight at it. Great discussion, guys.
Thank you.
Let's see. Let's actually get a question here. All right, this is another comment. This one I thought what we don't realize is Uber themselves are going to be disrupted or bought by Tesla when the robo taxis is introduced in a year or two. That is a massive turnaround. And so with that, did you hear about this? I forget the name of it. This Chinese electric car company
Evo.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. So they're basically taking over the electronic car industry
Correct.
in a big way. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. Because it's going to, when looking at it, you have to look at who has control over most of the resources to make these batteries, right? So
Mm,
when we look at an industry such as, EVs, automated driving cars, it's all about the battery, right? And the battery comes from, rare earth minerals, and China is the biggest player in rare earth minerals, in terms of the cobalt and everything that they're pulling together to make these EVs. So they're going to be a dominant player for a very long time. I believe China has over 80 to 85% of the global market share of these rare earths. So that's why they're not worried at all of the future of how they're going to flood the market with their EV cars, right?
oh,
So
sorry. I don't want you to overpass that point so quickly. I
yeah,
want you to have people understand like what that means and also
it's
how
massive.
important cobalt is not only to those batteries specifically, but other technologies that we are having
Correct.
using.
Correct. So cobalt is very, very important. Even in Jamaica, there are rare earth minerals here that are used. Many people don't know it's not just bauxite, right? In Haiti, there are rare earth minerals that many countries want, stakeholders want. So we have to understand and look to the source of what is creating a lot of these technologies. It's these rare earth minerals, right? That many people are fighting over. It gives that competitive advantage. So yes, this cobalt, other than batteries, lithium batteries and batteries for EVs, they're making many other applications and equipment for military purposes and such, right? But for the general public, we've been given, these cars like Tesla and the Chinese cars. I believe it's Evo and some other companies, but what we're going to see, this is why Tesla is, the United States supported Tesla as a brand so much, and is ensuring that they have a dominant footprint in this, in this industry, because China does control more than 80 to 85% of all the rare earth minerals around the world. Therefore, for Tesla to corner the market in the US, in the Western Hemisphere, they have to that's why they built all of those factories, and that's why they were doing so much data training, having these cars drive everywhere, even though they're having accidents right now, right? These are the initial stages. Unfortunately, people are being used in almost like a focus group kind of format, and kind of like test dummies, unfortunately, because the data sets still need continuous training. They would have to go through crashes in order for the AI to then say, okay, this is how I crashed. So I need to adjust and add this to the data set, the bigger data set that is there, so that these other cars don't crash like that. You follow? But it doesn't mean that one car is, you cannot then tell a person, oh, this Tesla is not going to crash, or these other EVs are not going to crash. So we're going to get to a point where what you call false positives, accidents, are going to then just be drastically reduced, because they're going to start putting what is called restrictors or governors on the vehicle, meaning when more electronic cars are noticed around each other, more of them are going to start moving at a slower pace or in certain directions. and then humans are not going to be in control as much. Cars are going to just come and pick you up here and go drop you off there. You know, no more front seat kind of vibe. That's eventually coming, you know, in the future. That's kind of to answer the question as to where China, because they're going to be leading it, and of course, America is going to be in that competition and bringing it out in the Western Hemisphere.
And so I'll say two things on that. And this, people may think this is like, from like the Fifth Element or whatever futuristic movie that you can think of,
Yeah,
Demolition Man, whatever.
good movie.
Yes. This, but this is going to happen within our lifetime, and like
Yes.
not 20 years down the road. I
No.
mean, this is coming relatively soon. So that's
Very
one.
fast, right?
And so like, so and I guess my question to you is like, do you care from your position, your perspective, whether it's the U.S. or China who's doing this? Because I do believe like this technology is going to come to Jamaica sooner than we think. And
100%.
do you have a perspective on which
Who gives it to us?
Who gives it to us? Who do we work with, or anything like that?
Right. Well, wow, good question. My perspective, um, well, if I'm to look at what's happening in Jamaica right now, let's, if we're talking just a little geopolitics, right? China did come and assist in terms of, infrastructural development with the roads. And obviously they're helping with a lot of the infrastructural projects. They're building that massive hotel over the next 4 years in Montego Bay, so they've been doing a lot in Jamaica. Of course, the United States, as we call him, Uncle Sam, is our big brother. They're always there overlooking. Many of the diaspora is also in the United States more than they would be in China, right? So there is this balancing act geopolitically that even the government of Jamaica finds itself in. I can tell that obviously the United States would be very unhappy if Jamaica was to cut a big EV deal with a Chinese company over, let's say, Tesla or another US company. I have recently been noticing that more charging stations are being put up around the country as well. So there's obviously a underground logistical plan underway that's going to be right. That's going to be for whoever is looking, for who, and we're going to be told one day who has the contract, right? But it's entrepreneurs who know that they can make money from charging stations right now, similar to like gas stations, that it's actually going up all around now, right? They're starting putting some at gas stations, but then you're going to start seeing some that are like gas stations themselves. But that will eventually happen as more EVs come into Jamaica. Now, the culture of Jamaica, it's going to be difficult to I think, for the EV to penetrate the market on a very large scale, unless there's going to be massive incentives being given by the government. That's going to be the critical issue. If they don't do that, Jamaica is going to have a warm time kind of adapting to where they want to push that agenda.
Oh, great points all around. A lot to think about, and it's just such an interesting time, and like even as you say about like geopolitically Jamaica having to do this balancing act, and I always said on here, it's just like, and with as much as China has come in and has changed Jamaica infrastructurally, particularly with the road networks, I'm just like, where has the U.S. been? Why didn't they do this? And as they, the big brother, Uncle Sam, whatever you want to call him, I'm just like, you had it. This should have been you. It should have been you. And so,
what sorry to cut you. What the elder said to me on that very point, because I myself thought, I mean, many people may have thought that same thing. Elder said to me that, well, it seems like Uncle was a little bit too busy with their hands all over the globe. They didn't see right in their backyard that, their gem in the Caribbean was kind of being manipulated of sorts. So we're going to see a lot more, I am sure, of the United States in terms of hands-on approach in Jamaica. They obviously are making it known that they want to become more of a infrastructural part of Jamaica. If you read the news, you'll recognize it always starts with training and getting closer to the government and things like that, then you're going to hear more projects are rolled out, more grants are given. Agricultural money came for food and security. I think 20 million US dollars came in a spice project from the United States. So, money is coming as well. But for us who are seeing infrastructural development, obviously we recognize that that's obviously mostly China is doing most of that, which then leaves, is the United States going to take more of an active approach in that? And we just have to sit around and watch because competition is a hell of a thing, Winthrop.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man.
Good point. All right, let's move on with some more questions. I think this one is around UBI. Where
Yeah.
would governments get the money to provide for these monthly stipend, higher taxes on respective businesses that are employing AI technology, thereby eliminating jobs?
Good question. These thing the Boy, that's a good question, right? Because find the government trying to find money a lot of the times is not so easy based on all of the stuff that is going on in the country. Just from my perspective, my limited knowledge, but in it would have to come from the companies themselves. If I'm just thinking right off, just shooting from the hip, with just a common sense approach, it would be very smart in terms of a solution based approach if the government, various ministries in their in these various sectors would approach some of the big companies. These companies are billion dollar companies, right? And saying, look, we would provide some form of incentives uh, for you to limit, the amount of people that you may get rid of, or if you have to get rid of somebody, create these new jobs, right? If you're going to eliminate them from this section right here, let's put in some kind of uh, I wouldn't say donation. Let's say a project that you can invest in where you'll then receive some kind of incentive, stipend, whatever benefits from the government, where that money that is raised from the private sector companies can go towards retraining, right? These workers that have lost their jobs into a whole new field, or kind of helping them to find jobs, because it's not going to look good with this question right here. It won't look good for the government. It doesn't matter whether it's JLP or PMP. Nobody's going to want to be holding the reins at the time, knowing that you're going to have 20% unemployment rate, 25% unemployment rate, like these high numbers. Whoever will be in office is going to be sitting in a hot chair at that time. So I believe it would only be the companies themselves who are actually getting rid of the employees that are making and saving a lot of this money, that the governments could work with and say, hey, let's come up with an actual good idea to still get to our workforce, or
Yeah,
retrain our workforce.
yeah, yeah. But like we've both been saying, like
Yeah.
sooner rather than later, start
Yeah.
start
Oh,
preparing.
let's come in quick.
This one is from For Eva at Throp. Has he talked about Udio and AI music yet?
No, we didn't. We at this point, Crimson Tide is not really big or majorly focused in the AI music field. But that's a massive one. All of these things are going to be massive across all of these industries, right? Um, think about now, even musicians, right? They're quite worried. They have a whole new beast to have to deal with now, right? Where my company has to go find solutions to help them, right? In terms of, because when you talk about copyright, right, and copyright infringement, how do you know when somebody decides now just to go and strip somebody's music and their voice, put it on something else, and put it out there and start selling that music? How do you know whether it's the right Drake? It looked like Drake, sounded like Drake. How does the company know whether to flag it as this is AI, right? So there's going to be a period of that for a little while, until applications and solutions come out, as I was saying earlier in the interview, where people can then validate using a process, is this Drake's real voice coming from this platform, or was this AI generated?
Yeah, so there's this. I just pulled it up. Hold on. I'm just gonna. I don't know if it's gonna play. There's this. Have you heard of Suno.com?
Come again?
Suno dot or maybe Suno. Yes, Suno.com.
Suno. Yeah. Suno. I've heard of it. I haven't really played with it though, but I've heard of it. Saw it on
But you
social
just
media.
yeah, you just go to it. You like literally like the type of song da 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 da, and it
Correct.
just makes a song for you. I don't want to waste your time playing
No,
this right
no,
now.
no,
After
no,
the
no,
next
because it's interesting. I saw another one the other day where
yeah.
just making a beat, you just kind of tell them the mood that you're in. You type it in almost like Chat GPT. This is the mood that I am in, and then it just brings out a song. It's like it's crazy. Now AI is the biggest music producer in the world.
I'm gonna play just a few seconds of this.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Well, I think is this the one I did?
I used to hear the sweetest
Can you hear?
melody.
Yeah, yes.
Every word you spoke a symphony. But now
And
the
this was
notes
yours that you
are
created.
out of tune.
Yeah.
And I'm left here still in love with you. You were the piano in my heart, playing a song only we knew from the start. But the keys grew cold, the sound grew faint, and I'm left here drowning in
And there you
this
go.
heart. I'll keep singing, singing through
Crazy.
the pain and the tears,
And
and
that
I'll
sounds
keep
really good when you think
hoping
about it.
we'll find
And it's
us
like I didn't do
whispering
anything.
in our ear.
And I could use it as part of my YouTube video.
YouTube videos, yeah, royalty free, right? Exactly.
Yep.
Right.
And you got to be scared as like a music producer.
100%. Oh, they're not happy, Winthrop. They're not happy. I can tell you.
What's this?
they're definitely not happy.
Crazy.
They're, they're not happy. And real quick before we move from this question, I kind of going to segue it. It was last year. There is a girl right now that literally she just made an AI avatar of herself and she just put it on a platform. I think it was whether it was OnlyFans or one of them, it wasn't not kind of graphic or anything. Just people who want to kind of talk to her AI avatar like they're having a relationship or date. And literally, this girl made $1 million in 1 week. And I'm
Wow.
like, wow. But what my mind went to is if she's just clicking a few buttons and is able to do that. And then I saw the music one. We're going to have an era of AI movies that we're going to be watching in the box office, right? We're going to have an era of people going to concerts. We're going to have an AI DJ playing AI music. And, this is the world that we unfortunately have created for ourselves, right? Where people are going to then have to find themselves with a decision whether they want to partake, because it's going to happen, right? So it's not like we can stop it, right? But do you now want to partake in the extra artificial world, that reality, or you want to still stay amongst kind of the human environment, our element per se? But it's going to happen though. Obviously, as you know, Winthrop, the capitalists are going to take advantage of if I don't have to pay the DJ or I don't have to pay this person or that person, and people are coming, then I just throw the event. So you're going to have that to deal with.
Yeah, we're gonna live in that world of like, look at the Apple Vision Pros, crazy expensive, $3,500, but it's gonna get to a point where everybody's gonna be able to afford a version of that, and we're gonna
Correct.
live in these virtual worlds
Yes,
and
yes.
go to
That's
AI
scary to
concerts,
me.
like you said.
Yeah, that's the scary part to me. That we don't get to go outside and see the sun anymore. We're all walking around with the VRs. I can't. That's yeah. I'm gonna try and make a software to avoid that world.
All right, got this one. This one is from Punty 050. What the Crimson Tide CEO said about China is true, but China is scared and pretty worried that Tesla/Elon is trying to open a factory in India. China is
Yep,
scared of India resources.
yep, that's true because of the workforce as well.
Mhm.
The workforce, the economics, and of course their infrastructure in terms of a factory base in terms of to mimic what China is doing. Yes, that is a very true statement there. But it comes down to, again, it all comes down to can they source the batteries, the rare earth to power the actual EV. So that's really where the critical fight is going on right now, in the very background that most people don't understand or see.
This one is from Lisa. With Jamaica being the third largest Caribbean island and English speaking, with all the developments going on in Jamaica, do you think Jamaica will be in the position to be the IT hub of the Caribbean?
Yes, I believe Jamaica, and that's
And
one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I came back as well. I believe Jamaica will be the IT hub of the Caribbean, and eventually will be dubbed as almost like a Silicon Valley in the Caribbean. I do see that happening.
I did a live stream. This could be like 2 years ago, and it was called the Jamaica. What did I call it? Silicon Island. Yes, Silicon
Nice.
Island. Right. And so my question to you is like, what do you think that we need to do as a country to like make this happen? And I'll give you just while you gather your thoughts, like a
Yeah.
few ideas. Like, do we need more backbone infrastructure? Do we need to somehow attract the Googles, Facebooks, Apples of the world to set up shop here? Do we need some sort of incentive by the government to have what would I say, the knowledge base to come in, whether it's software engineers or whatever have you, to kind of make Jamaica their home and their hub, to
Yes.
then, train our people here so we become we become an IT hub, but not because people are coming in, but more because we are producing the brains that support this technology.
Correct. Yes, a little of everything you said, and I'll kind of paint a picture, a little bit more with that, with what you've used so far to brush the painting. So I see that Jamaica is going to have to, similar to like how they have what is called Silicon Valley or the Apple office. If anybody wants to Google what does the Apple offices look like in California, just Google it and kind of get an idea. It looks like a university, right? It has its own supermarket, it has its own, medical facility. Everything is there because the workers are just there, right? You create this environment where all these great minds are in one location, one central hub, and they're being directed based on the executive and these ideas and these engineers, the real core geniuses that are creating these applications, and then stemming down from them are the myriad of peoples that have been trained to kind of take on various processes, right? Now in Jamaica, yes, we do need to invite some of these billionaires to come into Jamaica. Why? To help us to source that money, to build out some of these kind of areas. Whether we're going to say we're building a computer science university, right? That is just focused on teaching people a few languages, whether it's Python, Java, you know, C++, various languages, or even today, these new languages today like Flutter, Dart, so that we can be building various, mobile apps, different applications quickly. Why? We're going to have to scale Jamaica very quickly. So why keep outsourcing to India and to other places when we have this knowledge base here and we can train these people with the knowledge? Jamaicans are very, very smart people, but they have to be shown where to kind of put their energy, right? So with all of these economic zones that I've been listening to the government actually creating, I believe an economic zone needs to be created for a university kind of style environment living, right? That has a hospital, has a supermarket, has all of these things that can base, let's say, 5 to 10,000 students, people, individuals that are being trained by some of the smartest people in the world. Incentivize those people like Google or Apple or whoever are sending some of those workers, incentivize them with various benefits in Jamaica, right? For doing that in type of investment. So these things are not more than just conversations, but it takes people to be able to see the forest, not just the trees, as we said earlier, Winthrop, to know that, hey, we need to kind of go out there and have these conversations and create these opportunities, because then it would streamline down to the citizenry that will benefit in the very near future. That's kind of seeing things ahead of the curve. Unfortunately, a lot of the higher echelon people are not able to see around that corner just yet, where us as developers, engineers, we can see it already, because we're building from the top, so we're looking down. Some of the people are just on the road looking, in directions like this, right, front, back, side to side, and it's not their fault. It's just that they haven't been able to be taken up to a canopy of development to say, where are things going? So they, with Crimson Tide working intricately with, the government agencies, stakeholders, we hope to be able to let them see these opportunities, right? We need to be taking a lot of people from UTech and UE and putting them into these kind of programs, hands-on programs, creating even robotics. We really should be doing it for automation, because we're not just saying we're creating robots to do a Death Star kind of situation to ourselves. No, right? But why can't we learn how to build robotics so Jamaica could one day build its own car? Right? Who knows? Like, we should be able to, we want to think big, right? We shouldn't just be limited to just music and reggae, and you know that's good to be known for, or the world's fast athletics, right? All of this is good, but the mind is a terrible thing to waste. I grew up learning that. So I think Jamaica should be, in the very near future, be known for our intellectual prowess, what we have done on the world stage in creating stuff that the world needs and wants to use, rather than just our culture.
Very, very well said. And I would like to believe that we want to move in a future of that reality, right? But it, like you said and laid out, we need certain things to be put in place to
Yes,
allow
it
that
has
to
to be put.
happen. Has to. Got a couple great questions here.
Yep.
Anu, would you and other skilled technology professionals be willing to train local use there to bring them up to speed until the bigger pockets come in to build those universities?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, later this year, we're actually going to be opening the program. Hence, why I was saying to you earlier, we want to actually have our own event, similar to like a TED Talk kind of vibe, and that's kind of where I want to introduce, to people that Crimson Tide will also be helping to train people, whether it's data set training, giving them hands-on approach from the field of AI and computer engineering. So we're going to be teaching people machine learning, deep learning, automation, the Python language, what else? Business intelligence, and various little other facets of the processes in terms of training data. Very important, and data privacy, right? Because to be doing all of that, you have to be trained in data privacy. So we're looking to do it. Obviously, that's going to take some kind of investment. So, we're ensuring that we kind of get ourselves in the space, prove ourselves in the space, which we are doing very, at a very fast pace right now because of the high demand. So sometime later this year, we plan to at least start with maybe 10 students, and then from there, kind of see how that develops.
I got two selfish questions.
No.
Outside of that, right? Um, Outside of the university example that you gave of like 5 to 10,000 students, how can we do what you're doing with those 10 students, but like we can do it at scale and quickly? Like how would you like? Because I always think about I think about Negril, and I think
Yeah.
like Negril is like in such a good position to be this technology IT hub because
Yeah.
we don't really there's nothing much going on outside of
Correct.
tourism
Correct. No, no,
here,
no, no. It's a good environment. You have a great environment out there.
and I think it's just so poised for something of that nature, especially and accepting that we will need the outside help and expertise of
Mhm.
like these very, very smart individuals. And like these outside expertise, I also mean even Kingston, people coming in from Kingston and coming to
Yeah.
Negril, setting up
Yes.
shop here.
Yes.
And it's beautiful here. And I'll show, and, I show you like, this is what you can go to work. This could be your office every
Correct.
day.
Your office window.
And right, and I'm just like, it's perfect in that sense. We have the from what I understand, we have the backbone coming in here as well, as far as like
Yeah.
internet goes. And so I
Yes.
think the grill could be a perfect place for this. So question is, like, how do we kind of get that middle ground from like the 10 students that you're going to be taking under your wing? So
Yeah.
maybe instead of getting up to 10,000, maybe it could be a few hundred, or maybe it could be a couple of thousand.
Yes. All right, to scale to that level, I would say you first need to invite all of those people who are interested to, let's say, a seminar, right? To kind of let the interest come to you first. And then from there, we take a database of all of these people, their skill sets, so we understand what have they been accustomed to for in terms of IT. Are they just a pure rookie? Or they actually at some form of level? That's critical to know, because then we can even use our own same AI and say, hey, John Brown, Lisa, this, that person, they would be the best team based on their background of their experiences. I mean, we could just look at it and know too. But in terms of moving the process even faster, just to kind of review, that can be done. From there, I think we would have to place, let's say if we're talking 100 people, once we know what we want to do and we have a way to train them, we need to get them immediately into an area where we can train them. So whether that training center has to be ready, whether it's a university-based kind of setup, an office kind of setup, how BPOs look, or so telecommunication centers look, that these people can go to cubicles, look, see somebody who is teaching them kind of vibe, give them little practicals where they're working each day. And you have to have it feel like it's almost like a dorm room school vibe setting, right? You know what I'm kind of saying? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that whole Facebook movie, when that movie came out, kind of vibe where it's just open. People can vibe, people can come in. There's rules, of course, but you have that laid back kind of where people come in and they feel like this. I can create an environment where I can create, right? Now, if they have, because Jamaica have an idea of, if I go to work, everything is so tense. That's the reason why you need that energy for them to walk into that energy. I believe Jamaica once given the location, a place to be creative, and a few instructors with the knowledge of how to create. I think we can scale my 10 people to 1,000 people very quickly.
I love that. I love that. And to piggyback off of what Simone is saying here, and not hiding from it, we have Jamaica is known as one of the best scamming countries in the world, right? And it is what it is.
It is,
And
yes, yes, yes.
and we're
Unfortunately.
fighting against it. And I'm not trying to sensationalize it in any way. We're fighting
No, you're
against
highlighting a fact. Yes, we have to be
a law
truthful.
enforcement perspective for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my question is like, what can or what can we take from the skill that it takes to be so good at that industry, let's say? How can those skills be applicable in the legitimate technological side from your perspective?
Well, I'll just be blunt for the first time, like how you've been blunt. Scammers are very, very good with computers and technology, right? They have harnessed their energy in just learning how to steal, obviously. But if they understand that they can earn just as much, right, in an environment and create, and without the whole I have to look over my shoulder, me losing a family member, and the whole danger of the game of scamming. um People who engage in scamming just need to be take an open mind that there are avenues that can make them a legitimate money, that can make them just as much or even more, right? Because the skill set that a scammer needs to have in terms of understanding a computer, whether they're going to be using VPNs, different kind of throwaway phone, they're using 2G network versus 3G versus LTE, knowing how traffic works, how triangulation works, trust me, they have a good little idea. And we're talking at this point. I would know, because you do have white collar crime. You have some of the biggest scammers are in some of these big institutions, financial institutions, right? So we're not going to try and just blame, unfortunately, the lower income, lower um classes in how they would want to frame them. But unfortunately, most of the scammers they're going to kind of say right now in that regard, where they're using quote unquote banger phones, right? They're in the inner cities, people, unfortunately, youth at risk, as they may want to identify them that have dropped out of school. They're seeing, adults that they're trying to mimic and understand, and they become very susceptible to this, this type of lifestyle, right? But the type of mindset that it takes to actively want to change your voice, trick people, do this thing. It's creative. It's like somebody becoming an actor and say, Johnny Depp, I'm going to be Pirates of the Caribbean, right? I'm going to be this guy today, and then tomorrow in another movie, he's just as good being another character. Now, for these skill sets to just naturally be invoked from some of these Jamaican youth, it shows that we need to help them harness these skill sets. There are not enough instructors and educators that are actually focused on these youth at risk. Unfortunately, some of our best educators and instructors are leaving the country to go work in other countries. So again, you see that this problem that we've been talking about, since afternoon is really upon us, right? There is a dark day ahead, and unfortunately, it may be blamed on AI, but it won't be AI. It will be because we didn't prepare for AI. And you said it actually the best earlier.
Very, very good point. Thank you for that.
Yes.
This one's from Shauna. Anu, how can tech professionals JA abroad contact you if they want to contribute to your initiative? There are a few people in the chat expressing interest.
Great, awesome. All right. So Crimson Tide, you could actually check out our website. If you don't mind me advertising that. Thank you. It's www.crimsontide.ai. CRIMSONTIDE.ai. That's our website. You can check out, our webpage, all of the services that we do. We're going to be updating, our project that we're going to be working on with our students, and kind of showing people how we're going to be working with those students, having them build, little AI models, whether it's data set training, to the point of having them even play with some kind of robotics, right? I know some schools and some programs are doing it here on a very minor basis, but because of, in terms of our technological background, the type of things we're building, they'll get from a novice to a very advanced level of understanding how to build something, and they can then take it from there. Other than the website, you can also check us out on Instagram. It's the same, crimsontide.ai, across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And then you can also look me up as well on social media, Anu L.
Okay, I'll add that right there.
Yeah, there you
Thank you
go.
for that. Yeah, so please feel free to reach out, everyone. Okay, kind of. I did not expect to go this long, but this was extremely
There's a good
captivating.
convo, yeah, man.
Oh man,
Definitely.
wonderful, and I really, really do appreciate your time.
Yes.
So let's start bringing things to a close. This one is from Nicola. Throp, this guest needs to be going into the primary schools as well as high schools and do seminar on what is needed to envision the new Jamaica. The schools need to have a career day for Jamaica.
Good point. I would definitely take up Nicola on that if I'm able to do it. I'm a very big advocate. Right now, currently, I actually work with an indigenous tribe, the Maroons, specifically the Akongpong Maroons. So I actually help some of them because a lot of them have been displaced. They're in the mountains. They don't really have much to do and all that. So, some of them we have like a little center. Some of them are doing whether training on how to develop various programs like a ID program, things like that, things that they kind of need. And in the background, I'm helping them to understand how to use these platforms, how to kind of to work on platforms. I'm going to actually be kind of bringing them into AI eventually, but you kind of have to take a slow approach to the audiences that you're doing. Internet was a very big issue up there. I worked with the chief. He brought a very good, internet signal into the community. Of course, you need internet in order to, access some of these platforms as well. So one of the major initiatives we're going to be doing is building a little tech center down there. So a lot of the young students who are not able to access the school, the formal schooling system or even the university systems in Kingston that have these tech centers and infrastructural centers, we'd be able to help some of these communities that find themselves somewhat like off grid, that
No,
way we're
that's
kind of making sure pieces of Jamaica are not too left behind, because I felt very bad knowing that some of the places I go to, with the knowledge that I have and seeing, the forest, as I've been saying to you, it's very sad that some people will be drastically left behind if not given an opportunity to that gap. We need to close that gap. Not a little bit, a lot.
great point, and so glad to hear that you're doing things of that nature, because I remember, I'll tell like two quick stories. My dad used to go to a lot of schools, and he gives like these motivational speeches and encouraging kids like through our nonprofit organization here. And this was probably like 10 years ago, I want to say. And so, and he always went around and asked the students what they want to be when they grow up.
Right.
And it's usually always like policemen, firemen, our army. And what he started to see is like kids were literally raising their hand and they wanted to be scammers. That was like what
What?
they were. That was 100% scammer. And but it was because of what you were saying earlier about the mentors and the people that they look up to in their community and who are
Mhm.
making it and who have the Mark
Correct,
X and
correct.
the girls and yada
Just
yada yada.
remember the house, the girls, the cars. Yeah, yeah.
And so this is what they're seeing, and then this is who they're looking up to, and this is
So,
what they're
yeah.
being told of what it and I'm using men because that's mostly who's doing it, and like this is what
Correct,
it means
correct.
to be a real man, right? And so what I my point in saying that is like what we need is to have like gentlemen, people like yourselves going into these schools who are successful, who are smart, who are entrepreneurs and doing well, and showing them there's other ways that you can be successful, and there's nothing wrong with being like a police officer or in the army, but
Correct,
it's
correct.
a lot of it's being driven because like they want a gun, like honestly, like that's what I'm seeing in these schools. And then the second thing is this is when I used to be a very big part of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, and this was when I believe it was when was it American? No, not American. I don't want to get the company wrong, but it was a foreign national company coming into Jamaica, and they were interviewing in the Montego Bay area for these jobs that they were hiring for, like probably hundreds of jobs at that point,
Right.
and they all had to take a lie detector test, and one of the questions that were asked, and this is the presentation that they were making to was it a presentation? Anyway, somebody was making a presentation to the JHTA, and one of the questions they ask is like, have you ever touched scamming money, or have you ever been involved in scamming? Something like that. And it was like some drastic number, like I'm talking about like 70 or 80%, and it couldn't answer the question
Mm-hmm.
in a meaningful way. They had to say yes, that they had been in touch or they were part of scamming in some way. And it just goes to show you with those two examples, just like how embedded this is in our
Mm-hmm.
culture, all the way from our children and in schools, all the way up to people trying to get a job, right? And
Yes.
so this is the reality. This is the reality that we're dealing with here. So like what you're doing is like it's so important. I think you need to get in front of these kids more often. I think what you're
I
doing with these
I would
is
love
amazing.
to. I would love, well, connecting with, programs such as yourself and doing these other events. I hope that, eventually people see the value of the information, and the value that there are Jamaicans on the ground, and there is a product of Jamaica by Jamaicans, that can help to assist in these ventures.
Yes. All right, wrapping up here. This one's from Ficus. Why do you call your business Crimson Tide?
Well, crimson is also the color of what you'd consider maroon, right? So I really like that color. So that was one thing. Hence why I told you, even I'm kind of linked with the maroons as well. Um, but crimson tide, if you look at the word, it's really a phenomena that happens, right? Where what they call something called a red tide, where it just naturally happens where organisms, in the evolution of things, when they're changing over, there's this red tide that you see, and then there's this rebirth of that area. It's almost like, unfortunately, using this example, a woman that may be kind of going through her natural order each month, and then she has her new eggs and she can procreate and create new life, right? Crimson tide is a phenomenon naturally in the world. You can, people can Google it, where there's that rebirth. So I chose that name for multiple reasons, because again, we're going through a renaissance, right? A technological renaissance, just to match the infrastructural renaissance in Jamaica. I'm a firm believer that technology will be the solution for Jamaica to fill that gap that we obviously see that is getting wider and wider, based on economics and technology that is coming. Uh, we have to refocus the technology with the people in order for that gap to be closed. So crimson tide essentially is, a metaphor, so to speak, of what we will be doing here. We're creating a rebirth. We're out with the old world, in with the new, in the sense of scaling Jamaica, creating a new mindset of how people are looking at the technology. And really, our real focus, to be honest, and this is advice coming down, I speak to a lot of elders. The advice is to focus on the children, focus on the next generation, right? They say, as we age, our cares get less. So if you want the full attention, and to get to a maximum point of, this peak in terms of people unifying around the technology, we have to kind of focus and invest in the children. Not to say that we won't be, focused with other people, obviously, in terms of helping adults or working with, university students. But we have a passion to try and give a lot of this information to the youth, and to try and build infrastructure for the youth, such as you at the high schools. You remember when you were in high school? I mean, I went to St. George's College in Jamaica. And when I was in George's, at that time, we had a computer science class, but it was joke. We were playing with floppy disk and playing games and stuff. It wasn't really anything that was going to challenge your mind, right? And I believe that IT should be, even at this point in the world that we're at, should be even before high school. My little 3-year-old daughter is already knows how to turn on the phone, scroll the phone, find YouTube. Of course, we restrict her, because I have to make sure we monitor what's going on, because I see the pace of what this young generation is able to do and mimic and see. Therefore, if we can approach a lesson in terms of information technology, teaching them that don't not all information is good, not all technology is good. Teach them false, from not from reality. They need to know these things, because if they're waiting, as children, as youth, nobody's guiding them. They don't have these lessons from their teachers, and they then reach the high school. You're dealing with a whole empty kind of person who just believes when they do this, this is reality, kind of
Mm.
taking a selfie photo. You know what I'm saying? So I believe the youth are the future, and we need to approach them.
Oh, beautifully said. I think you chose the right name for your company, to say the least. I appreciate the explanation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very timely as well. So I want to give you a
I sent you I just noticed I gave you the wrong my personal Instagram. If you want to put the right one up, I sent it to you in the our text message. Yeah. So that one will directly go to my Instagram. And but the company Instagram is right that you had though, at crimsontide.ai.
All right, I'll throw that up there.
There you go.
All right, so as we close out, I want to give you, the last word here. Anything that you want to tell people, and I just want to remind people that you are a presenter. You're doing keynote this Thursday at the International Real Estate Conference and Expo at the Montego Bay Convention Center on Thursday, and to come out and to conversate and reach out to you and meet you. I don't want to put words in your mouth or force anything on you.
Yes, yeah, I'm not an AI, I'm real. Come and look for me. Yes, but thank you. It was indeed a pleasure speaking with you and interacting with your audience as well. I've been watching some of your videos. I see that you're doing fabulous work as well on the island. Thank you and appreciate you're reinvesting back into Jamaica, just like myself. I took that same approach, recognizing that Jamaica is a place that I would want to live, work, and have my family. It's not just somewhere else out there, right? And in closing, I would invite everyone and implore everyone to take the opportunity to visit the conference, right? The future of investment in real estate, which Jamaica is the destination. That's the theme of this conference. Of course, as we've been talking about, that Jamaica is under construction. So this conference, I am sure, is going to be really jam-packed with information, networking, understanding the markets a little bit more, and of course, with myself being, on site to have a presentation, and then for the other 2 days doing live demos in our booth on site. People will be able to come and kind of interact with the technology, some of the technology, not all, but interact with us as well to get first-hand knowledge and find out more about some of the projects that we're doing across the island.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking, I don't know how many hours it was that we
No, it was a great convo, man. I appreciate your time as well, man. And
yeah, we got to do
this.
this. No, absolutely. We got to do this again. We got to do this again and get you on here. And I know there's going to be a lot of follow up on your end, and people are going to reach out, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to meet you at the conference. So
yeah, man, let's keep in touch. Let's definitely keep in touch. All right. Talk soon, man. Thank you. All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.
That was really, really awesome. Didn't expect that. I thought we were going to talk more on the side of the conference, which we did, but we so I knew he wasn't the original guest that we had. Like, this happened like literally, behind the scenes. Like, this literally happened last minute, and I think it was kind of awesome and perfectly timed where we are in where Jamaica is in its lifespan and everything like that. And this was great. And I thank you all, the audience, so much for your engagement, your questions. I always appreciate you all. You guys come with some really, really great questions and perspectives, and I appreciate this community so much. I really, really do. Let's get back to the viewer. We had other things planned, but I think we're gonna be wrapping up soon. That took that took a lot. But that was really, really awesome. Let's play. Gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna play a quick video. We'll talk about it in a second. Be right back.
My name is Joanne Oates. I am the founder of the Smile a While Foundation. I have been an occupational therapist for the past 8 years, living and working in New York City. In 2021, I founded the Smile a While Foundation because I knew there was a great need in the Caribbean for therapists to work with special needs children. Being from a Jamaican background myself, I knew firsthand what the experiences are in Jamaica. I know there are a handful of occupational therapists in Jamaica, all located in Kingston, and the rest of rural Jamaica, children are going unserved. And it's not just occupational therapy, it's speech therapy, physical therapy, behavior therapy, all the adjunct therapies that children with special needs require that are readily available in places like the United States, the UK, Canada. But when we think back to island nations, these services are few and far between. So the Smile and Wallow Foundation seeks to fill that gap by providing programming that brings therapists from abroad to work with children here, therapy students from abroad to complete their fieldwork placements here, as well as trying to build capacity with the professionals we already have on the ground in these islands by providing professional development workshops and introducing the latest techniques and interventions to the already practicing professionals here working with these certain populations. We could help to bring knowledge and just increase capacity of how we serve our children with special needs.
All right, that was a Throp Media production right there with Joanne Oates and the Smile a While Foundation. Joanne does amazing work for her team down here last year. At least this one, we filmed it last year, and just making a huge difference in people's children's lives specifically. And I want to go into that perhaps in another live show. We're going to be playing that video a lot, so get used to it. But I just wanted to introduce everybody to that video and her organization, the Smile a While Foundation. And Jo is she is a channel member and a big Thropper. We had a great conversation at the Throppers think tank yesterday. But getting back to this conversation, yeah, that was great. That was as Shauna says here, that was gold, absolute gold. And it's kind of good to get I talk a lot here in like isolation doing these live streams by myself, and I talk about AI and giving my perspective, but it's just great to hear from somebody who's like way in the dungeons, deep in the dungeons of AI, doing this for a living, and hearing his perspective and hearing where things are going. And yeah, is it scary? Yeah, for sure. It's scary. It's scary, but like more than anything else, like in talking about these things and bringing it to the forum and bringing it to this platform, the point is not to scare people. The point is really is like awareness, one, and then two, it's just like as a country, we gotta start doing something about this now, putting provisions in place. I forgot to mention this video that I saw. And it was this store in New York, and let me know if anybody has seen this already. But there was a store in New York, I forget the store, but they basically had a cashier there working, but they were in the Philippines. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. Like, this is so crazy. That's a job that's gone from a New Yorker, like, directly. And like, is this going to be a trend? Is this going to be? And then you think back to even the self-checkouts, right? That too, that's a job that's gone. People checking themselves out, and that's a human job that's gone. And so, I mean, as these things start to roll out, I think there's going to be like this mass adaptability that we have to go through like very, very quickly. And it's just a crazy time. It really is. And I have to acknowledge that. And I have to recognize that this is such a crazy time, and the world is moving faster than ever. And I just don't want Jamaica to get left behind, and I at least get caught with their pants down. And this is why like I push specifically with the BPO sector, is like, to me, that's where I could have some other blind spots, but I feel like that is one of the areas that we are most vulnerable in, because so many jobs are reliant on it. And like I said, maybe it shifts. Maybe the labor force shifts from BPO into construction or into even hospitality here, which we desperately need people. We're short bodies in a big, 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 big way. So who knows? Who knows? Um, but I think we're gonna leave it there. That went quite a bit, but like you all are saying, that it was really, really good. I definitely want Anu to come back on. Maybe we'll do something like physically. Maybe we'll do something in Kingston at some point in time. But I don't know. I know a few of you are coming to the conference this week, so it's going to be on Thursday. Do I have this picture up here? Here we go. So these are the panelists. So this is some of the speakers that are going to be there. Kerry Wallace, who we all know. I think we all know Dr. Kerry Wallace. He's the executive director of Tourism Enhancement Fund. Anu, the CEO of Crimson AI Limited. And Kelly Dawn Hamilton. She's the CEO of Jamaica Special Economic Zone and Authority. And it's going to be a good one. Like I've been saying, like we're going to have the whole entire Throp Media team there. We're going to have a booth there. We're going to be hanging out in Montego Bay for a few days. So if you are going to the conference, please come, stop by, say hello, take a picture. Let's chop it up. We're going to be doing a few interviews there as well. And for those who can't make it and who are abroad, we're going to do our best to get you live updates as quick as possible. Yeah, we're gonna with that like that was it. We're gonna do live updates to get you as quick as possible. So with the interviews, we're gonna be capturing it. On the Wednesday, the 17th, we're gonna be doing a live stream. I'll try to get it out if not the day before, the morning of. We're gonna do a live stream. We're gonna do a walkthrough of the facility, show you everything behind the scenes before everything is happening. And I'm just realizing we're supposed to do the giveaway today, but it's gonna have to be on Instagram. I'm sorry, I don't think we're gonna have the time to do it. It's gonna have to be on Instagram. This is the giveaway for the tickets. So it's gonna be we're gonna do it through Throp-X. Well, it's gonna be Throp-X, but it's if you follow, you have to follow both on Instagram. We'll do it that way. So if you're interested in possibly winning 2 tickets to the conference, follow Throp-X and follow Throp, and then we're gonna do it there. We're supposed to be today here on the live stream, but I totally forgot about it. With a new being on here, just got caught up in the conversation. But don't worry about it. We're gonna get it out to you. We'll make sure we give those away. So like I said, we're definitely going to be. I'm gonna try to bring you. We're not gonna be doing live, but I'm gonna try to bring as much of the experience of the conference as I possibly can. We're going to be speaking with a lot of people who are professionals in the real estate industry, and also the linkages, the supporting industries of real estate. And we're going to try to get you that like as quickly as possible. And so it's not like you're gonna be waiting a couple of weeks. Like we have a plan that we're working on. We're gonna try to get stuff out like that same day, obviously at the highest level of production as we possibly can provide it in. So again, if you're not able to make it, this is, I think, gonna be the best way that you'll be able to experiencing it, and at least from our perspective, from the Throp Media perspective. So for those who are not subscribing, I know there are a lot of people who are watching this and have been watching this, not subscribed to the Throp channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We're going to be uploading content on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday live and then even Wednesday, we're doing the live stream walkthrough. So just make sure you don't miss out. And if you're not subscribed, please do so and hit that notification bell. And of course, hit the like button for this live stream as well. Jonas asking, do you know the times for the conference? Yes, I just had it up. One sec. Let me all right, so I'm bringing up. So here I'm on the website. So So registration, this is starting from Thursday, April 18th. Registration starts at 8 a.m., so 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then the opening morning session is at 9 a.m. And then it goes until, the first day goes until 5 p.m. The next day is 8 a.m. again, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. registration, and it goes until 5:20 p.m. And the last day they have the site visit, which is these are the locations that be doing a site visit. But it starts in this, the site visit is this, but I believe the day starts at the same time in the morning. All right, so I hope that answers your question. All right, let's wrap up some questions here. How to participate in the giveaway? Yeah, just follow. If you follow Throp Media. If you follow Throp-X and Throp on Instagram, that's the only way we're gonna be able to do it. And we're gonna do something, and I'm not sure exactly how, but the follow up is, in order to participate, you have to follow both. And the sorry, 3. I know I'm messing up here. And then also let me get it for you. I'm gonna put it in the chat here so it's easy for everybody. 1 second. So we're doing it, and then also the Realtors Jamaica official. There you go. I'm gonna ask you to follow them as well. So it's just 3 accounts. So the giveaway is gonna be in conjunction with those 3 accounts, and everybody will know who won. And that's all the requirement is. You got to follow those 3 accounts. So I put it in the chat there for you. Yeah, no sign up required. You'll just be cross-checked that you're following all 3, and then we'll give it away that way. So I hope I made that clear. How do you apply for the selected tickets? So you just have to follow those 3 accounts. That's all the requirement is, and it's going to be Throp-X, and the Realtors Association Instagram. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. It's just those 3, and you'll be good to go. I put the Realtors Jamaica Instagram handle in there. I'll just do it at an @ so it might be a little bit easier. So I got all 3 right there in one comment. All right, and that's all it takes. And I'll post about that. I'll post about that later, at least on our Instagrams, and we'll be able to give that away in the next 24 hours. The dates are the 18th of April 18th to April 20th. Right here. So this is the website. You can go to this website. I throw it in the comments as well if you want more detailed information. Some of you are not on IG. I'm sorry. This is the only way. This is the only way. That's where we're gonna give away the tickets. I'm seeing you. You're already. Sorry about that. And the last thing that I want to announce is Throp-X. So we have dates. We have dates. So what we decided to do, we added an extra day. And so this year it's going to be from November 17th to the 22nd. And one of the key feedback that we received was that people, participants who came for Throp-X, they wanted or needed a day to get their TRN and to open a bank account. And last year there was a group of people who essentially missed the social day to go and do just that. And then also they went to look at properties that were outside of Negril that weren't on the Negril real estate tour. And so what we decided to do was include a day of doing business, so that would be facilitated. And we already spoke with the tax office in Sav, and then also spoke with 2 banks. And what we're trying to do, which we haven't got, what we're trying to do, and I don't know if it's possible, but one, we want you to be able to sign up for your TRN on site at the conference. Don't know if that's going to happen, but we are going to be facilitated in a way where we get streamlined at the tax office. So we're working on that. And then 2, same thing with the banks. We wanted you to be able to open up your bank account right here on site at the conference at Travelers, but doesn't look like we're going to be able to do that for security reasons, but we can get the process started at, you'll be a few steps ahead once you get here. And then again, when you get to the bank, you'll be facilitated and streamlined when you get there. So those are probably, so far, that's one of the biggest adjustments that we're going to be making between this year's conference and last year's conference, is really the folks who don't have TRN, who don't have a Jamaican bank account, is helping you facilitate that after learning all this great information and being motivated and wanting to do this and wanting to do that. Now you can actually get all the things in line that you need to be able to actually transact business in Jamaica done while you're here. So yes, very happy that Throp-X is going to be in November from the 17th to 22nd. I know we put out different dates for the on a poll that we did I think last week or the week before. But these are the ideal dates. I wanted it earlier in November, and talking with Travelers and working with Travelers, we were able to accommodate because we have some refurbishment projects coming up in the months prior. So and the last thing on Throp-X is we haven't integrated the payment plan structure for people who want tickets. So that's going to do, so if you want to form that program, just give it a couple of weeks. I'll also announce it on the community page, and I'll let you know that that's happening. But tickets are there. Tickets are for sale. If you want to go ahead and reserve your spot, you're more than welcome to do so. And looking forward to having all who are able to make it and all who are able to attend. And we got some special things planned for this year. We've been working on it, and that's kind of why it's taking so long to get to this point. But thank you all for your patience. I know many of you had asked me about tickets and when it's going on sale. So there you have it. And again, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have the payment plan integrated into it, and very excited to launch this. Simone said, "I'll be there." Okay, looking forward to having you again. Looking forward to having you again. Shannon, when do you plan on announcing the winners? By tomorrow. So I'll put this out probably by tomorrow evening. So a little bit more than 24 hours. I'll let everybody know. We'll see how many people bite on this. Maybe we'll do Tuesday, but I'm planning for tomorrow. But I want to get as much participation as possible. So maybe it will be let's call it Tuesday. Let's call it Tuesday. So at least we give it a chance for it to run and for people to participate in it. So we'll call it Tuesday. All right. There we go. All right, this is an awesome stream. Again, thank you all enough for participating. Again, thank you to my guest Anu. He did amazingly well. I think we all learned. I know I'll say for myself, I learned a ton. I think hopefully we brought some a different perspective to AI, and I'm interested to see his presentation at the conference later this week. And then also looking forward to actually meeting him in person. This is our first time interacting ever, and it was smooth, super smooth. I don't know what I usually like to announce what we have coming out this week. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was going to. It's probably going to be the real estate conference stuff, because I have other content, but we're backed up. We got so much stuff, so much content in the library backed up. So we're going to be trying to get those out quickly. But definitely looks like this week is going to be a heavy real estate conference content coming up. Anyway, I think I'm going to go for a walk on the beach. I haven't done that in so long. I can't run. I love running on the beach and I can't do it. So I think I'm going to go for a walk, maybe take a dip in the ocean here and the sea. A beautiful day. Really is a beautiful day. Anyway, want to wish you all a wonderful, wonderful week. Look out for the competition to win those tickets shortly on Instagram. Make sure you follow us, Throp-X, and also the IREC, Instagram page, which is in the comments. All right, I'm going to leave you with this view just for a little bit. Wishing everyone a wonderful week, and I'll see you Wednesday on our live stream, live from the Montego Bay Convention Center. Great week, everybody. Peace.